Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah. Well, all right. Like you always say, welcome, welcome, welcome. Number one sports talking D. We ain't like the Falcons, we won't blow the lead. Look, all we talk is who that, who got cut and who back. Rookies in the vets, players you should look at. It's the sports coma, you don't wanna miss it. Got the pre-game party, post-game statistics. Get a visit from Sway, maybe DC or 5. It's the hottest thing smoking, Big Q and the guys. Go to YouTube Live, make sure you subscribe. Interviews inside the Saints locker room high. Talk to Drew, Jordan, Zach, Peyton, New Orleans, who that nation. Best believe when I say we bleed gold and black. Ain't a miracle or robbery could ever hold us back. No, Beastquake, Bounty Gate, let the truth be told. It's the sports coma, all we know is say Super Bowl. Yeah.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Who that family? What's going on, fam? What's good with the family in the building? Welcome to another installment of the Great Saints Think Tank, also known as the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. And like I always say, or try to say, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm about to bust a rap on y'all. What up, family? What's going on, family? Good to see y'all in the live chat. Welcome, man. Welcome to the Sports Coma. Good to see the beautiful black and gold family members in the building. Good to see y'all. Big ups to y'all. About to bust the rap on y'all. Who that? Dominique, what up, fam? What's good with it? Dominique, who that to you first in the live stream? Till. My dog Till in the building. What up, Till? My boy Till, what's good with it? Big Smoke Dog, what up, fam? Scoob, my dog Scoob, big dog. Who that from Philly? My dog Scoob in the building. Joy and Isabella, what's happening, family? My fam extended fam from Florida. Dada, what up, Dada? Who that to you? GM Kev in the building. What up, GM Kev? Carlito, what up, Carlito? Who that to you, family? 985 Live, what's happening, fam? Who that to you? Christian Smith, who that to you? Joshua Hoover, who that to you? Demi, what up, baby? Who that to you as well? And the live stream, Derek, what up, Derek? Who that to my dog, Derek L? Who that to you in the building? Good to see you, Daron. What up, fam? What's going on? Demi say, go for the rap. Who that to the family in the building? Good to see y'all, man. Good to see y'all for another beautiful week past, man. Really nice week. Just terrific. Great weather today. Enjoyed it. Took a walk. This is pretty nice weather, man. Gorgeous weather. Gorgeous weather, despite all the foolishness. But you just got to keep living, family, regardless. You got to keep on living regardless of all the nonsense and the stinking, rotten underhandedness that's going on. But you got to keep living, family. Joshua says, how did the Saints allow Thad Moss to sign with the Skins and not pursue him? Honestly, disrespect Peyton and Loomis have for LSU players is ridiculous because the best of the best are usually LSU. Great point, Joshua. You would think that the Saints would have grabbed from the orchard, and I used this analogy before, dealing with LSU, with Sean Payton picking his apples. And I think I used the term apples, apple orchard, from Ohio State guys, but preferably not higher ups from LSU. That's obviously not his liking, despite the fact that guys like Grant Delpit, Justin Jefferson, several really high-ranking offensive linemen that was available that you didn't have to give up picks to get. But I understand if there's guys out there that you like, then you have to pursue them, and I have absolutely no problem with that. If you really truly believe that this guy will improve the team, then I have absolutely no problem with you reaching out and going to get that man. So, yes, indeed, Grant Delpit was picked up by Cleveland. They got a hell of a player on their hands right there, to be honest with you. He was there when the Saints picked, but the Saints wanted to address the offensive line, the interior of the O-line, and I'm not mad at that at all. I think when they picked it, I wasn't mad at all. I said, you know what? That's that guy. I went and looked at his footage. The guy he is going to be a perennial Pro Bowler, in my opinion, at center for the Saints for a long time. It's one of them LaCharles Bentley picks, if you know what I mean, lessen the injuries. If people can go back in their Saints brain and recollection to remember LaCharles Bentley, you'll remember who we're talking about. This guy have every potential to be better than that. LaCharles Bentley, in my opinion, was probably one of the best centers the Saints ever had. And we was fortunate after that to have guys that come along and really produce, overachieve at the center position for the Saints. We talking about guys like Jonathan Goodwin, Jeff Fain, and so on and so forth. And this is a very good move. The Saints were able to get Max Unger. He played Pro Bowl level ball for him at the center position. They moved up last year to get McCoy. They put McCoy at the center. He played really well. They're going to put him back at guard where he was phenomenal, and he'll play at a Pro Bowl level there. And they'll put this big kid Ruiz there at center. And boy, is he a mean son of a gun on tape. I absolutely love the way he plays, man. Really does. But it just goes to show you that despite all of the talent, I mean a lot of talent, you talk about Fulton and Divinity Jr. and all these other guys that were available, and it just wasn't in the cards for the Saints. And hopefully sooner than later, we'll get an LSU guy. But they did get some serious talent in this draft, so I'm not mad at it. We'll recap that today, family. We didn't do a draft recap show. We talked about the picks, but to actually recap the picks, then come out and do I'm gonna pull out the depth chart, unofficial depth chart, and go over it with the family members, with everybody on there. I don't know if you guys have done that, but we're gonna do that today here, and I will open the phone line. So relax. I'll open the phone lines to the Great Saints Think Tank, also known as the Sports Coma, and let the guys chime in and call in and get their thoughts on the draft and so on and so forth. James Taylor, who that to you? Good to see your family as well. Eddie Evans, who that to you? Says, who that family from Jonesboro? Wow, Jonesboro, Louisiana. Welcome, Eddie. Good to see your family in the stream as well. Kevin said Nation is Nation of Suckers Part 2. Kev, I got you, fam. Man, I tell you, man, I don't know, man, if people really, because if you kept information at a, you just can't, it's levels to everything, It really is. When you climb into something, or let's say you could join a frat, all the climb, you got to go through some stuff to show that you're worthy enough to get the real baseball, you know, or you join any Blue Lodge, you know, you have to be put through the rigors before you can see that you trust it enough to be able to get what they got. And that just goes to show you so much other stuff that goes on in the world that, you know, it's just really awesome. Crazy too. But yeah, Nation of Suckers is something else, Kevin. Coming at it from a sports perspective, you know, just to show you how much money, man, that we really put up on these folk and why they so successful like they do. And then we acknowledge them like, oh, they just having all the great, man, that's you doing that, man. That is you. When they do terrible bets with your money, like some years ago when the zombie banks was doing all kind of crazy stuff with the money, and then the people say we just got to bail them out. Then they bail them out 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, nice infinity. Whenever they screw up, you pay for it. Man, ain't no kind of way that's supposed to twist and turn. We supposed to go for that, man. Ain't no kind of way. Well, that's just the automatic preset now that they screw up, they just get the money and keep going. No, if you screwed up with a bad business model, your ass go out of business. And if you broke some laws, your ass go to jail. You know, and that's just how it's supposed to go. If you're a dirty, underhanded politician and you steal and you take your ass to jail. Just can't understand how they get away with this stuff, man. Are we a sleepwalking? We must be. Ain't no way in the world all this stuff's supposed to be happening, family. And they got people out of work and all businesses shut down. As you can see, my barber closed. Barber closed. And the city threatened them. If you open that shop, you're going to take your license away, man. But they don't give you no money. Ain't that no kind of way, people, that's supposed to be happening, man. There's no way people supposed to be getting money. I mean, real money. Just like you would get them stinking ass banks, you're supposed to give it to the people. Don't let me get in my spiel now. We'll talk about it on Q with Big Q. How about that? Thank you, GM Kev. Good to see the family in the stream now. I'm a common sense dude. Really, I am, man. I really am, man. I'm a common sense dude. I come at stuff with a common sense approach that makes sense. I really do. I believe in common sense. I believe in no property taxes. I believe in giving the emergency workers the most pay that I can give them. I mean, making them the highest paid in the country if I could. If I was a politician, that's what would I be running on. Eliminate your property taxes. That's what I would do. I would eliminate your property taxes and make the emergency responders the highest paid in the state. Try to make them the highest paid in the country. Try to make the teachers the highest paid in the country. That way I get all the best teachers. We get the best school system. Well, you can open up money for these fraudulent casinos. You can't pay the teachers. I'm common sense all the way around, man. You have the best streets with me because I'm common sense. I ain't part of them cliques. But anyway, I'm going to get out of that realm and stick where I belong over here on the sports side. GM Kev, thank you for that. Demi says, who that to you? Good to see you there as well, Demi. Oh, Henry, what up, Henry? Good to see your family in the building. Big up to you. Tonkaton 3 beats. What up, fam? He said we got McGee undrafted, though. That's true, Tonkaton. We did get McGee. That's true, undrafted. Last year we got what? Clapp? Was it last year or the year before that? Year before that we were able to get Will Clapp, and we got Adrian McGee this year. So that's true. We are getting some LSU guys on the team to the benefit of Sean Payton. So thank you for that, Tonkaton. 985, who that to you? Lionel, what's going on with you, Lionel? Who that to your family? Good to see you. He says, who that? Great Saints Think Tank. Back to you, fam. Big ups to you. Let's see. 985 Scoop says, let's see. Van Ward, who that to you, Van Ward? I see your family. Good to see you in the stream. Kelvin Washington from Phoenix, Arizona. I don't know why I do that, but it's just preset. Phoenix. Every time I hear Kelvin with that, but I don't know why. Gundam, what up, Gundam? Taurus Shepherd, who that to your family? Good to see you in the stream as well. Damone, what up, Damone? I see you, fam. Big ups to you. Big ups to you. Big ups to you. Kevin says, Keon. Nah, it's just what it is. We have a new edition of the On Cue with Big Q tonight, too. I got a lot of news clippings to play as well. A lot of interesting things going to happen next week. A lot of interesting things going to happen next week on, and I'm talking about on the arrest side. So just remember, if you ain't heard it, you heard it here first. On Q with Big Q on the Patreon page, link in the description section below. Sign up to get that real deal. 95, some of them businesses was getting loans knowing they didn't need. That's what they do, family. They feed off the backs of the people. And they only could do that if you're not awake. But yeah, and I was thinking about it today, man. You know, I'm gonna just throw this on. We're gonna get into our topics. Who that to you, Ramsey? I see your family. Big ups to you. Tonkaton says, if we get rid of some of the players that cost us games, then the Saints are the team to beat until we have an uphill battle on our hands. I pray this offseason pays off. Me and you both, family. Very great sentiment there by Tonkaton. Big ups to you. That was real good, bro. Said KT. What up, KT? The Southern Gent. What up, KT? Good to see you. Willie Mitchell. Big ups to you, fam. Ramsey Wars. Keith N. He said, that is the reason I stay here and listen to your words. The least common thing in the world is common sense. Thank you, Keith. Much love to you. Who that to you? Thank you for that wise compliment, brother. I appreciate that. Keep big ups to your family. And I try to keep it that way, man. You know, when family members come here, we talk about the Saints, we talk about stuff we love, but there are a lot of people that come here and they don't care about the Saints commentary. Some people come in here, they get Tampa Bay fans, Buccaneers fans, Titans fans, Raiders fans, Giants fans, everybody fans. They're just like, I guess nobody talks like this. They don't bring that edge, that realism, or that common sense approach into the sport, into what we talking about. And like I've said often before, I was thinking about it today. I was like, man, damn, they got people in this part of this awoke thing. Everybody's saying they're awoke. But people got to remember, just because you say you're awoke don't necessarily mean you're awoke. It is a daily endeavor for you to remain awoke. It is, because just because you claim that you're awake, and you could very well be awake, and if people don't know what I mean by awake, when somebody say they're awoke, that means that they're no longer in a sleeping, slumbering state where people could take advantage of them, meaning in terms of how things are in the real world, meaning you have to be in some type of sleeping state not to notice what's going on. But when you're awoke, it means your awareness levels that you see what's going on. But it is a daily endeavor to remain awoke. Just merely saying that you're awoke don't mean that you have to not keep the work into staying awake. That's another additive to it, because the programming don't stop. You could wake up to something and get hit by something and go back to, you could be woke up on 10 topics on this side and sleep on 5 on that side. You get what I'm saying? Such a thing exists. That's why so much money spent to keep hitting you with it in layers and layers. And it's not just television. It's also social media. It's also, the programming is ridiculous. And it's insulting to your intelligence. It's like, wow, is people really swallowing this? You know, we just gonna believe somebody because they said that they this or that? I mean, are we really gonna let that, you know, and this kind of process of thought I have. That's why they don't promote that. That's why it's a constant, perpetual cycle of ridiculous fear promotion, because it keeps you off the logic center. Fear shuts the logic mind off. When all this started, I kept telling people the same thing. Do not get in a state of fear, because fear cuts off the logic receptors in your brain, cuts it off, cuts your logic mind off. You can't access that critical thinking when you need to. And when you're in a constant state of fear, then all kind of stuff happens to that body. It starts with that mind. Then the body, because you know, if you're in a really high agitated or fearful state, it really impacts your immune system. Did you know that? Stress can kill you. Stress raises your blood pressure and all kind of stuff. It could throw you into a tizzy. It's like throwing a monkey wrench in the fine workings of a beautiful, well-made clock. A big one, of course, for a monkey wrench to fit in it, but you get the idea. But you know, that's just one of the things, man, you know, to remember that one of the universal laws says that they could do that. They can use your mind if you're not using it, but it must be used. So if you're not using it for your benefit, somebody's going to use it to theirs. So, I mean, that's just a part of it. My little public service announcement from the Sports Coma, this public service announcement. All right, let's keep it moving, family. Good to see you, fam. Michael Sachs Jr., what up, fam? I see you in the building, my brother. Let's see. No Saint. Who that? No Saint say Saints versus Tampa will be prime time twice this season. By the way, the NFL did say that they will make sure the season will start on time. On time and they're going to keep it rolling. They're not going to put people in one city and have a bunch of games with everybody in one city. They said they're going to do it the regular way. Everybody's going to be where they're supposed to be, and they're going to keep it going. They're going to proceed with the season as what it's supposed to be. That came out yesterday, I believe, and it was reinforced today that the NFL will continue its season. And the only changes might be if the college game changes a bit, then they will then make the jump from Sunday to Saturdays to have games. So that might be the only change that you get. And they're operating with, they said, a 17-week schedule as well. And of course, you could throw the bye in there. But the reality is things keep turning in the NFL world. Now, I say that because, listen, these are billionaires that run the league. The commissioner is merely aloof. He's merely a puppet guy for the billionaire owners. And the billionaire owners, they have their pockets in everything. Like, you've noticed all these lawsuits, the people, the cities and everything, private people, groups that sue the NFL, federal level just shuts their lawsuits down. Just no, you don't have enough. It happens all the time, which means you have stroke at that level. They really do. And if you have that amount of stroke at the level to get all of that bad down, you have stroke and pulling information from on high to let you know, hey, this is what we're going to do and this is how you do it. That you ain't got now. Thank you there, fam. Hi, Just Described. Hi, thank you for joining the Great Saints Think Tank. Big ups to you. And that's why I'm saying a lot of this information, they don't make whims or stuff on whims. There are groups and think tanks, as you will, and advisory boards before decisions are made, and then the lawyers write the stuff that get out to your butt, and they read it off the thing to you. So it's a really controlled dynamic, and I say that because the information that's coming out for the NFL to proceed forward is promising insofar as the football side of it, where you will get that football. Now, whether fans are being there, that's a whole nother kettle of fish. And just don't be surprised by the fact the NFL find another way to charge your ass to watch these games. You lose out on a lot of money going to the games itself. So it's going to be interesting, to be honest with you. But that's some information that the NFL will continue with its schedule. Now, some more information on today's show is the fact that the New Orleans Saints had a pretty clear draft. You know, they went out and they were able to get the center. They did a move on the offensive line. Ruiz will start. Now it's come out that McCoy will play at the guard position. Larry Warford is, unfortunately, he's still on the team, so we could see something happening, possibly a releasing or a settlement. I see at this point they couldn't trade him. They tried. I'm pretty sure they tried. So if that's the case, then they'll probably end up just releasing them and going from there. And then also there are other interesting options to go to as well. We covered this on the previous show, the previous show, when we talked about the article by Bob Rose. We spoke about Nick Eason and Patrick Robinson as possible cap casualties as well. And that can free up between some of those guys, because you got Larry Warford just shy of $8 million. You have Eason about $5 million. That's 12. And then you have Patrick Robinson, who could free up about 4 or 5 million. So that's 12, 4, yeah, that's 14, 16 right there. So you can free up 16, 17 million dollars real fast. You know what I mean, family? Just like that. If you just remove a few of these people. And the Saints really have a lot of depth. Now, I got to give a big shout out to after further review, Matt Moscona, who follows us via our LinkedIn account. And I said, like I tell you, man, we got a lot of people that listen to the Sports Coma, man, all around, in and around. When you open up your mouth and talk to the world about things, man, I tell you what, your words, and I say your mind, Freudian slip, but really that's a part of it. Everything that you said is then magnified and shot throughout the world, and you would not believe who will end up listening to your words and who will actually do it. So we're going to see about trying to get Matt on the show in the near future, as well as we're working on getting Bob Rose back as well to come on and talk up to us about the Saints draft, Jameis Winston and all that. So we'll be looking out for that. And I know you guys are pretty familiar with Matt from over at ESPN. We're going to try to get him on the show, man. You know, I like his commentary, and we're going to get him on the show. But he made mention of the fact that the Saints, and I agree with him, that good common sense thinking, you know, just like a regular great Saints think tank person supposed to be. And he spoke about the fact that the Saints didn't have enough spots open on the team for a full 7-player draft. And that's interesting thinking. And I can definitely agree to that. that, you know, you only have, if you go down and face down a team, it's a certain amount of spots that are open, you know, that you have. You can search out the wide receiver position. I've often said the tight end position, and we went over this on the last show. I said, man, we get the 3 tight end the rotation going like we had in the Super Bowl, yeah, we'd be bad. Saints went out and got maybe the 2nd or 3rd best tight end in the draft. They got this kid here, Troutman, and he'll provide as the future of the tight end position after Jared Cook leaves. You might have him. But this kid here, he definitely, in my opinion, will make an impact this year, because if Jared Cook goes out last year and have the kind of half-ass season he have, meaning half-ass meaning in terms of him missing as much time as he did, then you definitely don't need to bring Taysom Hill in that position to play that tight end position anymore with Troutman there. And I just think he'll excel, and the way you're bringing him as a 3rd tight end on the team will be masterful. I think that is a key way to learn behind Cook and Hill, which will be pretty good mentors from Troutman. So I thought that was a good move, getting that Ruiz center and whatnot. The linebacker is obvious move. You needed speed at the linebacker position. He's the future of the linebacker position. Zach Barnes, smart. And then the other caveat is a situational pass rusher who can operate for guys like Trey Hendrickson. And of course, the Saints did add Marcus, I guess not magnificent. The last cat I remember that had any affiliation with New Orleans, he had the name Marcus, was Marcus the Great, which is an old ass horror thing that used to host shows. Y'all remember Marcus the Magnificent? Now you got Marcus Hunt down here, and I looked up some statistics on. He's a big guy. It's an effort guy. Kind of reminds me of Trey Hendrickson, a big Trey Hendrickson motor type of guy. That's what Marcus Hunt reminds me of. He kind of reminds me of Trey Hendrickson. I can't help but to look at Marcus Hunt and see Trey Hendrickson. But we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about more in the show. Okay, let me give a shout out to all the rest of the family members before we get it fired off. Willie says, look everybody in there. Look like everybody in their house. Yeah. And it's crazy because everybody in their house, but all except for the politicians. You got Obama playing golf with no mask out there golfing. You got all these guys. Thank you for the super chat, family. KT, appreciate you. Said, which receivers do you see making a roster? We're going to cover that, family. I don't know. For wide receivers, I guess you can use Taysom as a wide receiver, right? Guess he's a flex player according to what ESPN released. So I would, if obviously Mike and Emmanuel, and then behind them Traquan, I think makes it. Taysom, you got to count him as a wide receiver, right? I guess you do. I would say Taysom Hill, and of course you have the kick return in Deontay Harris. So if that's 5 wide receivers right there, do you keep 6 of them? That's the question. If you do keep 6, it provides an interesting question, because you would say LaJordan Humphrey, Emmanuel Sanders, Emmanuel Butler, or Maurice Harris. And I would say Maurice Harris over the rest of those guys, even though LaJordan Humphrey to me is a really good wide receiver. But Maurice Harris has that speed component to it as well, and he's interesting. Now you still got those young wide receivers, the guy from Tennessee that I really like a lot. But it's a really interesting position to have. And if you throw Taysom Hill in there, that's going to take somebody's job away. So that's who I think you rely on. A lot of people think Traquan Smith is out the door. I don't think Sean Payton's ready to give up on Traquan Smith just yet. So thank you for the super tag, KT. Appreciate your family. Let's see. Is Big Q, any thoughts on drafted Tennessee wide receiver? Yeah, we covered that on the Patreon show. We do unreleased content. Lock content for our Patreon champion family. We covered that. We talked about Callaway. I think that's the kid's name. And he's a phenomenal talent, man. What I really like about Callaway is that he has decent speed. He's not a super burner. But what I like about the kid, he's tough. And he goes up high, points the ball. And most of his highlight reel is him wrestling the ball out of the hands of cornerbacks. I mean, absolutely draped all over him. And he still makes it. He makes it a point to catch the ball over the cornerbacks, and they hanging all over him. I mean, and that to me is a really great feature to have if you're a talented wide receiver like him. The only problem is, man, you looking at all the talent that the Saints have at the wide position room this year, man, it is going to be absolutely amazing. To be quite honest with your family, it will be absolutely amazing in my book if the Saints could even actually do that. So, I mean, to me, that's what I'm looking at, family. I think it would be absolutely amazing if he sticks and stay. But we'll see how it goes, family. We'll see how it goes. It'll be interesting. But I like the kid. But something tells me this is going to be a very, very tough thing for the wide receivers to make this year. A lot of talent there. And good to keep an eye on that as well. So let's keep it going here. Who that to the family members? No Saints says Saints. Okay, I read that one. Tonkatan says correct. No, Ramsey says who that nation? Who that to you, Ramsey? Timothy Dillon, what up? Timothy says Adrian McGee, Franklinton's finest. Big Q. I know, guy. That kid is an absolute wildebeest, man, and that's higher than a beast. You know, you got beast and wildebeest. I call him a wildebeest. That play where he took out two guys and how he blocked, it's like that viciousness. I mean, that guy has potential. And we'll see if he can stick and stay, man. I would love to see him make the team, man. He's just ferocious. Michael Sachs says, is Michael Thomas the greatest wide receiver in Saint history? He is on his way to being that. He is on his way to being that. I wouldn't say that yet because he hadn't been in there long enough, but he is on his way to doing it. He really is. I think probably he'll be better than Joe Horn, Marcus Colston, who owns a lot of those records. Time will tell, but he is most certainly on his way to getting it. And if he keeps going that route, I would definitely agree with you. But you never know in football. You know, you might take off the first year or two and then, 3 or 4 years, and then everything behind that, this production just disappear. And that's the part of it, working to stay relevant as that wide receiver. But he's definitely on his way to being something extra special for the Saints. So big ups to you. Thank you for that, family. No doubt about it. All right, it jumped on me here, family. So let me keep on running through. I'm a little behind with y'all, but Willie says the elite pushing New World Order agenda. No doubt about it. Big Joe Bear says, who that? Who up to that? What up, Big Joe? Kev says, we are not asleep. Gunda says, Big Q, what's your thoughts on wide receiver we picked up from Oregon? Big dude, physical, not much on the speed component, tough to bring down, red zone weapon. I watched his footage. I like the two wide receivers, the one from Oregon and the one from Tennessee, are really just like two mirror guys opposite. You got the big guy, 6'4", 230, very difficult to bring down, catches the ball. He don't have the super fast speed, but he's a serious red zone weapon. Like him on this side. On this side, you got Callaway, I think is his wide receiver. Fast, tough, high points the ball well. Both of them high points the ball well and make difficult catches. But Callaway, man, I mean, he just makes it a point to go and get it. And those two guys are really talented players, man. Really, that's why I said that talent level last year, the wide receiver room, to me, the physicality of it, the speed aspect of it. This year, not the same thing. Maurice Harris is there as well. And you got to look at Emmanuel Butler, and he has to make a step up. LaJordan Humphreys is going to bring it. So we'll just have to see. And then it's still not over. We still have the Saints are still going to bring other guys and people on this team. Thanks for the question, fam. Gunnar says, Tonkaton says, hit history needs to be taught in schools. Only winners get to tell the stories. The losers can't defend themselves. That's a caveat of whooping somebody's ass in a war, that the victors control the historic aspect of it, or they'll tell their versions of your story, which is called his story, his interpretation of events that happen. That's what it's called history for. History means his story. His story. That guy, he won. So he gets to tell his story to you, and his story becomes fact, even though you might not agree and evidence might disprove it, but his story is fact. There's a long-term lie that Christopher Columbus came to America. He discovered America. He never set foot on the continent. Never. He came to the islands as far as he did, but it's a lot of history behind that, about how he knew the routes and the lands. Well, how did he misinterpret the Native Americans for Indians when he was supposed to be looking for India, and they still call themselves Indians, even though you're not. I mean, it's just a lot of stuff you open up when you start going in there. You say, well, Q, if you call history his story, then what you call my story? What do you call, what is our story? Well, your story is called my story, which is mystery. And what is a mystery? Huh? You getting how the game go? History, mystery. I just love it. I love it. Critical thinking, family. Critical thinking. Let's keep it going. Lionel says the philosophy Q is on. Thank you, Lionel. John Gill, what up, fam? Thank you there. Michael Sachs, he says the OT from Oregon and DB from Maryland. Thoughts? I love the undrafted guys, bro. Thanks for that, Michael Sachs. I appreciate your family. This is the thing that I really like about this whole thing, dealing with the undrafted class. I mean, it is absolutely amazing that these guys, I mean, this is one of the most talented classes, and people not talking about it but let me tell you something. They went and got some really special talent. Look at these. I went and looked at all these guys. Look at footage. Matter of fact, most of our Patreon champions know that when we did the show covering the prospects, that I played video and all that and went through the scouting reports and all that. The crazy part about it is the offensive linemen, all of them play multiple positions. And one of the guys actually plays all 5 positions. He played tackle, guard, and center for his team when they were dealing with injuries. So it is absolutely amazing to me that the Saints were able to line up all of these offensive linemen and all of them play multiple positions. And they were really good. There was just some bums. They went out and got some talented guys that are actually first selection, second selection in the conferences they came from. They just slipped through the cracks. And this shouldn't be a surprise because the Saints always find the best undrafted talent because they have gained a reputation of getting undrafted talent on the field. If you come to New Orleans and you can play football, you can find yourself on the team. Don't believe me? Look at Ethan Greenwich. Look at Derek Kelly II. Both of these guys, most people don't know who they are, but they are our backup offensive linemen who are undrafted guys who are on this team right now, and were on the team at points during the active season, the full-on active season. So they've done a fantastic job with the offensive linemen. The cornerbacks are really nice too. I like the fact that the Saints they have 2 big corners, both 6'1" guys, both guys that can run, both physical guys that can do their balance guys. They can move around a lot. Really like that. And then that running back that nobody's talking about from Notre Dame. That guy is going to be a player. He can catch the ball and run the ball. He has wiggle. He is I would say he is what he reminds me of Washington, Dwayne Washington, but he's a Dwayne Washington upgrade. He has more wiggle than Washington. He has more speed than Washington. He can catch the ball better than Washington. And that's just about it. But he is an upgrade over what you would say Washington. That guy right there, watch out for that guy, man. Watch out for that guy. I think his name Parker. We're going to go over all that. Teal, what up, fam? Teal says all facts. Willie Mitchell, stress causes. Yep. Teal, you know, fam. You know how that go. Tonkaton says Bill Gates probably behind all this mess he's been talking about pandemic. It's usually, I'm going to say it, I'm going to leave it alone because this is stuff I talk about on Q Big Q, man. This ain't the platform for it. This is a sports-related platform, and I've created other platforms that we have on that deal with this type of stuff we talk about. I'm going to just say it's leaving alone. There are many literatures and white papers that if you're a reader, and not even if you're a reader, if you like watching the documentaries, get your ass a beer or a cup of coffee or something and go sit down, put a documentary on. There's tons of them online. Why most people not doing something, you got extra time, you just sit in your house, get educated. I mean, real education, not some stuff, that's going to lead you to the left field and away from what's really going on. But there are so many things going on in this world today that's tied to him. It's usually, this man has absolutely no medical background. A background. He has no medical background, but he's the foremost guy is shooting shit in your veins, up in your blood. I would be very cautious of letting something like that occur. There are so many other things that you can use before you even get to that. You can use before you even consider saying that. There are natural and homeopathic cures. I am talking about something simple as supplements, zinc, sunlight, vitamin D. I mean, goodness gracious, vitamin C. There's so many things that you can put before you put that stuff. And for black people, just speaking for black people, it's a very disagreeable history when it comes down to that stuff. Huh? We talk about Tuskegee, 40 years of that, lying to you about stuff. And that was the CDC's predecessor. See, I know about it because that was my sticking point. History, learning about history and research. That's what I was going for when I was in school. I wanted to know what was going on because I wanted to know how the world worked. I didn't want to participate in the world and not understood how it worked. I didn't want to start, I get a job, you work and not understand the science of money, how money's supposed to work and how it's tied to your mind and all this kind of old stuff. We kind of learned it backwards. We kind of did things backwards. And then you made a lot of mistakes and then realized that the mistakes that you made, you learned from the mistakes later on, but it was the experience that cost you. The time cost you, but it's still in the positive experience because you gain from it to put you on another lot. But you got to remember, it's the journey to get to success, to get to where you belong. You will have obstacles in the way. That's just how it was designed. But if you can some kind of wrangle this here thing and focus and concentrate and visualize the things that you want, then work for it. It's like pinpointing a laser. Focusing on it. And a lot of stuff goes on is meant to distract you so you can get that together, But once you pick it up, you'll realize that it is paper thin. The only reason why a lot of this is getting away is because you're not paying attention. You're not paying attention and you're alleviating your power to people who don't care about you. That's what's going on. Because if they did, they wouldn't do that. But that's simply fixed because there's more of you than them. Only thing you have to do is get us off and turn that off. Hit that off button on there. And you'll see what I'm talking about. And like I said, if you really want to know Operation Mockingbird, I'm going to just leave it alone. Get a whip of that. All right, let's keep it going. Mitchell says Bill Gates 100%. Oh, he a demon and a devil, man. He is a demon and a devil. And if you go back and research, I would categorize them as outright Satanists, man. Because the stuff that they really believe in and you really want to know, go read some of their literature. Go read it. They take you too stupid to read anything. Like you can't put two words together and form a definition. They have such a low continence of so disrespectful to the black folk and everybody else. It's just disrespectful to people, period. How they push us against each other and they like puppet strings and we paying the same taxes. We all working next to each other, but they do that, push that thing so they can do this here. Dance, puppets, dance. Then he back there creating all kind of stuff. You too stupid to govern your own self. You too dumb to know what time it is. You ain't smart enough to know the truth. You don't know, but they take all your money and build all this stuff with it. I'm going to leave it alone, man. I'm going to get away from that, man. But outright Satanists, the only thing you get rid of a Satanist, demonist, clown is by calling the Most High down, man. And working within your spirit. Bring prayer into this here thing. It's not just the physical aspect. You should not be fearing anything. Work on a connection to the Most High. Whoever you think the creator is. You don't have to be a super 5-degree minister to call on the Most High. They got brothers like my boy Derek knows. He said, you don't have to have a master's degree to talk to the Most High. To work on your connection with the creator there, and you get to gain the insight that you need. Seriously, that's why they don't want you to do it. And they make fun of it and say all this kind of stuff. But the demons worship their God. They worship their God. But something wrong with you. But they'll tell you your God don't exist, but go over here and pray to their demonistic, whatever that is over there. That's what I'm saying, man. It's mental and spiritual before it even touched down on physical. And I know a lot of people here, they go and dig holes and get ready and all that. Man, you have to do all that, man. You have to do all that. Listen, let the spirit, let the power of the Most High work. Only thing you have to do is a call, man. You got to invoke that. You got to pull the power of the Most High down and get that wisdom, get that information, and even you go to old sciences, talk about ancestral worship, calling your ancestors and praying and asking the Most High to get involved and the guardians to get involved, and all this stuff will stop. Just people have to realize that they have more than just this here to punch some gun upside his head or this here. You know, man, that's the last resort on every and any level. And besides, you have to consent to that to be done to you. You have to consent to it. Don't consent. Call them, yep, and I'm gonna just leave it alone. Somebody referred to this as football church. I said that, listen, in football church, fam, let's just get it going. Goodell says makes $40 million a year. Goodell is a chump and a lie and a piece of scum. Thank you, Tonka Ton. Big ups to you. And he's an outright lawyer. I've never liked Roger Goodell. Y'all know this. We got shirts on him. You know, it's trash. I think they're absolute scum and filth. Thank you, Michael Sachs, for joining. Both the family members. Thank y'all families, both for joining us. Tonka Ton and Michael Sachs Jr. for hitting the subscribe button. Thank you, family. Kevin says, after further review has a good channel. Salute. Get him on the show. We will. We're going to get it, fam. Ramsey says, Matt Moscona's a real G. Yeah, he is. The guy, man, is a good dude. We're going to get him on the show. Like I say, he follows Sports Coma via our LinkedIn accounts. We got all kind of social media stuff and people all around. Kevin says, bring Devin Hester on the show, Big Q. Gonna reach out to him. You never know who listening, bro. Trust me, there's a lot of people that I was like, man, who that dude is. They got business owners like my dog Teal and his family and other people. The little guy with the golfing thing that's off of, I forgot where, off of Airline, I want to say. I mean, you would be amazed to know who it listens to the show, man. It's the Great Saints think tank, baby. The greatest out here. Let's see. Joshua says Saints need to cut Robinson, Walford East, and free up $16 million. I love that. He says go after Clowney, $8 million with incentives. I don't think Clowney takes that. The lowest he wanted was 15, 16. He dropped from 20. Still nothing on it. That number will continue to drop if he wants to play. You know, we'll see. But Everson Griffin is obviously the Saints taking a move and getting out the way and not cutting them yet, but they bring Marcus Hunt here. I think we might not be looking at getting Everson Griffin if Marcus Hunt is. Who knows? We'll see. We'll continue to maintain it. Michael Carter, who that to you, Michael? 985 Live says you've seen that interview, Q, with the reporter saying they already vaccinated. Yeah, there are people that already, I've seen several reports. I've seen regular people that have already taken experimental shots, and it is a goddamn shame. And a lot of people don't realize there's such a thing as a vac court. You know, is a hurt court, an injury court for such things. And under the climate where it was declared what it was, there is no lawsuits that can be brought against them if something is found there. And like I said, it should be the last thing. And then they make fun of it and say, I'm like, what? Either you are incredibly asleep, blind, foolish, stupid, or in league with those people. It got to be one of those. Because you have the right to not let anybody put anything in your blood. Anything in your blood. The scriptures talk about this. They tell you how it's going to go, and people still sleep. I'm like, that's something that's been out there for years, hundreds of years we talking, maybe thousands of years, and you still ain't got the message. What more validation do you need? And you seeing the machine with its teeth glaring at you, and you still like this. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like I said about the Noah story. We could talk about the Sodom and Gomorrah story, you know, and all that kind of stuff. It's just when stuff happen like that, you got to take notice. If you don't, you'll be like the people who wasn't on the ark. What happened to the people that wasn't on the ark? It wasn't like he said, you can't come on here with me. You don't think if they had 5 other 30 or 1,000 people that say, listen, we believe what you're saying here, Noah. There's a flood coming. Let's do something about it. He might not have been able to fit on that one ship, but they can build ships or boats, extra boats or whatever it was. So when it happened, they all would be protected, correct? Right? If you know, it gives you an ability to adjust. It gives you a information to protect you and your family. That is the part of being awoke. Not just being awoke and just bragging about it, but what are you doing with the information to protect you and those around you? Are you giving it to people so that they can help themselves and their families? Huh? But I'm saying, do you want to be like the SOBs, the poor, unfortunate SOBs that made fun of the man while he was building the boat out there, and they called him crazy, but he wasn't crazy when that rain wouldn't stop running, would he? Huh? I'm saying, which one you are? I'm just saying, man, at the end of the day, you can't, there is a price for ignorance, and it could be deadly. In matter of fact, it is deadly. Because the people that take advantage of your ignorance, they going all out, baby. You better believe me. And you could take that to the bank. I'm telling you off top what I know. I'm telling you what I read. I'm telling you what I done seen. And I'm telling you, they mean business. How about you? Leave it alone. All right, let's keep it going. I honestly don't know about Smith because he's done literally nothing with all those reps. That's true. Traquan Smith needs help. We're going to see. Joshua says, BQ, if Taysom's being a QB, can come in as wide receiver and do a better job than a wide receiver, you deserve to lose play time. Very good point, Joshua. See, that's common sense. I can't dispute that because I'm right on line with that. That's common sense. I'm not going to come into conflict with that because that's true. You have to prove that you're on the field. Now, the coaches will allot you a certain amount of repetitions, but it's what you do with those reps. Do you then catch everything that the man is displaying, he's throwing to you to gain the trust of the quarterback as well as the coaching staff so you earn more reputations. You could be counted on. So that is very true. I agree. Thank you, Josh. Tonkaton says Callaway looking like Elvin Kamara at wide receiver. Seen him play really aggressive wide receiver. I love how he attacks that ball at his highest point. That's one of my best things that I like. Okay, I'm trying to get through the rest of these comments, family, to get right into the meat and potatoes of the stories going on today. Keith then says, Kevin says, pass around the collection. Say church, Kevin. Just sound like it, but it's not, brother. It's just keeping it real, man. I guess that's what it is in church, isn't it? Keontae, who that to you? Keontae, who that? Good to see your family. William Hance, what up, William? He says Sean Payton is the best coach in the NFL. Sean Payton, the man, what'll make him better is if he run that ball more. He'll be unstoppable then. Thank you for that, William. Appreciate your family. Let's see Dallas Allen, who that to you? Venom Rage says undrafted free agent linebacker we signed from Michigan State, Joe Bessie, is nasty. He's one of the highest graded linebackers in coverage and against the run last year. What I like about Joe Bessie is that he's not terribly athletically gifted, but he's smart and he plays with a toughness. He kind of reminds me of a poor man's version of Luke Kuechly. I dare say that's right. I said it. And people gonna say, Q, that man ain't no Luke Kuechly. No, look at his footage. Look at how he plays. He reminds me of a poor man's version of Luke Kuechly. The Saints have a steal with that guy. That Willie Mitchell, I think we're going to be 13-2. Dada says I like the running back. Also, Big Q strong in the lower legs. Got wiggle to him, some shake and carry the ball. Keontae, who that to you, says a lot of people don't understand depth. That's true. Derek says finally I got a chance to put my eye on Besher. He is a beast. I agree. Slade Smith said, who that Slade? He said, I think we got a little less finesse and a little tougher in this draft. No doubt about it. And the undrafted side of it too. So the draft, remember, you always got to add the draft and the undrafted together because they work together. Right after the draft is over with, the undrafted guys, kind of all of that works together, and then you build the depth that you had that you didn't get in the draft per se. But the Saints got 13 undrafted guys, all of them in key positions where they needed depth. Major league, I absolutely love it. I'm really loving it, and I've said this, the undrafted guys, I love them, the drafted guys. Big ups. They are all plus. Thank you, Derek. Appreciate your family. Much love to you. Thank you for your donation, family. And like I said, I love the undrafted guys. We have a lot of great undrafted guys. I mean, I love them. The running back is awesome. The offensive lineman, all of them play 2 or 3 different positions. Amazing. Bessie, the linebacker, he is a poor man's Luke Kuechly to me. The 2 cornerbacks that they have size and speed, and they're balanced guys. One's not a coverage guy, and the other one's a zone guy. They're both balanced guys that are nasty. They have an edge to them. I love that. Then you look at the fact that the Saints then added Big Malcolm Roach, who can very well push for a position. I mean, man. What can I tell you? The wide receivers are terrific that the Saints picked up. The 2 wide receivers in Callaway and Johnson, a guy from Oregon. big physical guy like Johnson, and he's 6'4", 230, and Callaway is 6'2", and he has speed. He's not a burner, like tear you up with the speed of pressure, but he can get away from you. I love it, man. The undrafted guys and the draft, put them together and see what you have. I'm going to show y'all some the unofficial depth chart as we get into the show. Thank you for that. Really, I'm crazy about it, man. I'm crazy about the draft. Heavy C, who that to you? Heavy C, good to see you. Farouk Obasi, what's up, fam? What's happening with you? Good to see you in the chat as well. Let's see, Drew Goddamn Breeze, what up, fam? Irvin Alexander, much love to you. Says Saints 16-0. Big ups to you. Derek says we already had sports car package. We have sports car and tracker trailer package. All right, Willie Mitchell. All right, once again, thank Michael Sachs and Tonk a ton for they donations. Much love, family. Okay, say you're watching the Last Dance document. Okay, Gundam says African Yomi route works also. Thank you, Gundam. Big ups to you. See the man, very knowledgeable here as well. He says Q waking them up. They woke up now. Q, you waking them up. They woke up now. But like I said, bro, it's a constant thing to stay awoke. You just can't just wake up and say I'm awake now, because it's layers to this. You gotta look at it. These people spend trillions, billions of trillions of dollars on everything that you see. And majority of it is not truthful. So if that's the case, if they're layering it and they're controlling the people, listen, the people are reading off of teleprompters. The question is, who's writing the script? I mean, your local reporter that you like so much because you're staring at them every night or in the morning, whatever. You get your news from them. You get your sports from them. They all read off of teleprompters. Who's writing the script? And then the crazy part is, if you go and find videos of all of them, they saying the same thing, like of the national stories, they all say, I mean, just look it up. It's like a script that they read off of that, covering the stories, not your local stories, but the national stories. Oh my goodness. You know, you got, I mean, is it really you reporting, or you just good? You got to read off a television screen all day. I mean, that just shows you. And then 6 of the top media companies are all controlled by 2 or 3 of the same company. What? Huh? You didn't know that? Man, this is a control construct, man, with limited amount of critical thinking. They do not want critical thinking because, like Rockefeller, Senior Rockefeller, who started it, the oil monopoly, man, from a long time ago, who was partially responsible for the Great Depression that happened. Him and his buddies sank the economy in the early 1900s so that they could turn around and buy up all the businesses cheap. Oh my goodness. And then the crazy part about it is, see, this is crazy how you know history, is that when everything fell flat on their face, peoples in soup kitchens and all kind of stuff lost all their money. Then they turned around, the government turned around and outlawed gold and told everybody who had gold that they were not allowed to have it, and they had to bring it to the government or the local people so that they can use it to build the country back up. You was not allowed to have gold or own gold, and they needed your gold a bit, so they took your gold and everything from you. I mean, absolutely amazing. But see, if you don't know history, y'all know how to finish the last part of that. Farouk Abasi, I see you, fam. Caution, Venom Rage says, how y'all like Saints signing Marcus Hunt? We're going to talk about that. Verlin, who that to you? He said, teach the so-called woke generation Q couldn't stay in the dome of silence when you're going so hard on educating the fam. I know we listening, but I hope you're being heard. Who that family? The lesson between the lesson, fam. You know, it's a way you got to be able to get this, because it's the critical thinking edge. You cannot be a critical thinker in one aspect and not among many. This is the great Saints think tank. We add everything into the mixture. That's why sports and sport talk and Saint talk has such a pizzazz to it, because you're not just cooking with bland ingredients. It's alive. It's alive because, and we could sit here for hours on end, 3 or 4 hours, we already do, and talk about the world, talk about our team in sports, because we alive. It's alive. It's not dead. It's not a freaking teleprompter. It's not reading from papers in front of me. I have no papers to read from you. All this is coming directly. I might mispronounce a word or saying every now and again. Y'all know that's what humans do, period. But the reality at the end of the day is, man, I don't believe in that. You have to be alive to talk to people. You alive out there? You know, how dare I'm going to sit up here and speak to you reading off it and acting in front of you and only emphasizing on certain words off a teleprompter. I don't believe in that, man. You know, I don't believe we had enough of that. That is dead to me. Let's keep it going. Big ups to you, Slade. Much love to you and all the family members. Kevin Crazy. Keith says, sometimes we have moments that I go, aha, and everything makes perfect sense. That is proof of a higher power to me. Nothing else is perfect in my life. Perfection, my friend, perfection is merely something, I ain't gonna say chase, because that's the ultimate goal of life, is to reach our most perfected state. You know, the Bible will tell you about being Christ-like. What does that mean? Being in your most perfected state, the highest existence one could reach. So in my summation, I truly think that the pursuit of perfection is what drives us from the things that we're dealing with. We don't have to mire or muddle around in dysfunctionality. We weren't born or created perfect beings. We were born with character flaws and character issues that we were supposed to get off. We were supposed to get over on these things. We were supposed to control our minds, our bodies, and, you know, and guide our own destinies to where we wanted them to go. And it is only our self-limiting beliefs that stop us from doing that. Reality. Because that's why we have people in here that's rich and people in here that's not so rich. But maybe that's not important to you. Maybe quality of life is. And you have a lot of quality of life people in here. So it depends on your individual perception on where you want to be in life, whether that is this or that. It's on you. You decide. Big Q can't decide for you. But I'm just saying, I'm merely letting you know that whatever you want, you can have. Whatever you want to get, you can have. You can be. I mean, that's the lesson. But they do have people out there that believe that they can make the world for you because you're not capable of it. And trust me, you won't like what they're making. So you have to participate. You got to speak up. And many people will say to themselves, I'm just one person. What can I do? I once said that before I started this show so many years ago with friends of mine and people that believed in me. And said, well, Q, you watched all that stuff for years, man. You fussing at the television. You saying stuff before the commentators saying it, man. It's time for you to get up there and do this and third. And then 4 or 5 years later, look at here. See what one person was able to do, bring all these beautiful people together in this live stream. All these beautiful people together here. All these great and beautiful people. Don't ever put yourself down and say, well, what can one person do? One person can do a lot. That's how it always started. It starts with one person. Like that old saying say, the journey of 1,000,000 miles start with just one step. One step, and you keep walking. Eventually, you'll get there. It's simple logic. It's the truth. Okay, let's keep it rolling. Who that's all the beautiful Black and Gold family members in the building. Verlin, all the family members. Bet Decius, what up, Bet? Good to see you there. Bet says, who that, Pastor Q? Yeah, baby, let me tell you something, baby. Who that, Derek Allison? I see you, baby. I see you, baby. I see you, baby. My dog, Derek Allison. Who that to you? It's another man of God right there, just like my boy, Derek L. Derek L. and Derek Allison, man. All that's beautiful. Heavy C, who that to you? Verlin. Drew goddamn Breeze, who that to you, baby? Who that to you? Tonka Time says, we got Tommy mostly because of basically Peyton wanted to show Brady a lesson in drafting players. LOL. I tell you what, baby, that's beautiful, baby. Well said, baby. And I'm telling you, baby, off top, baby. That's how we supposed to be. We the great Saints think tank, baby. Let me tell you something, baby. You got to level up, baby. You got to level up. Who that to you, Kyle Walter? I see you, baby. Much love to you, baby. Who that to you, baby? I'm telling you, baby, off top, baby. I'm telling you, they can't play with you, baby. They don't know who you are, baby. They don't know how you got all that power in you, baby. They know they can't create nothing by themselves, baby. Everything they have, baby, they took it from you, baby. They are not creators, baby. They can't create, baby. They only destroy, baby. Are you going to let them destroy, baby? Because you got the power, baby. You got the power 3 times over they have, baby. Only thing you have to do is open your mouth, baby, and they disappear, baby. I'm telling you, baby, it's like germs in your body, baby. They can't be in your body. Disease can't exist in you, baby, without your permission, baby. Did you know that, baby? How you didn't know that, baby? How you didn't know that, baby? You got a house, you living in your house. You mean to tell me you're going to let some stranger walk up in your house, baby, and watch TV on your couch with your children in there, baby? What you gonna do, baby? You gonna run them out of there, baby. You gonna bring out everything you got, baby. You gonna throw metal at them, baby. You gonna do it all, baby. You gonna bring out the baseball bat, baby, the golf clubs, everything, baby. How you know that, baby? You wouldn't let that burglar sit on your couch and watch that television with your children in that, baby. You'll run them out of there, baby. You'll hurt them something fierce, baby. But you got strangers in your body. You got viruses in your body, baby. You mean to tell me they can live there, baby, in your house, in your temple without your permission, baby? No, baby. See what I'm saying? You think one way, baby, but another way, baby. How that work, baby? Huh? How you have two brains, baby, one that work for you and one that work against you, baby. See, that was just an example, baby. I'm going to leave it to Q, baby. I'm going to just go back here, baby. All right, Reverend Saint, thank you, Reverend Saint. Much love to the Reverend, man. The Reverend, he been chilling, man. I guess he ain't want to say nothing about the draft. He been waiting to say that, but he decided to come and say something. So let's give it. Let's chime it up for the Reverend. Let's give a big shout out. Let's clap hands for the Reverend. Oh, bitch, I love man. Fell just playing. Man, it's great. It's beautiful. We alive, baby. We alive. We alive. Be happy. Be happy. Be happy and be happy. Enjoy your life. Enjoy that life the Most High gave you, man. Enjoy it. Neville, who that to you, baby? William Musgrove, who that to you? All right, family. But let's get into it, family. Much love to the family members, man. Big ups to the family members for joining the stream. Now, some of our first stories I wanted to go over, family, was the fact that the Saints, man, they did some wonderful things in picking up some of these drafted guys, to be honest with you. And I'm going to share my screen with the family members in just a moment. And we're going to go over some of the draft stuff. Let me hold on. Just give me a second here, family. I got so many windows open. Let me close these damn windows here, because they ain't serving the purpose here. Hold on here. All right. Now hold on here. All right. Yeah. Okay. We got that closed. All right, family. Now, what I really wanted to talk to y'all about is the addition of our drafted guys. I'll get some of my windows open here. And we had the 4 guys that we drafted. We covered this on our, actually, I think it was on the, it was. We covered this on the middle of the week show. Not the middle of the week show. We talked about it on our Patreon, the TSC Q&A. That's only available for the Patreon champions. Much love to y'all. And I'm going to share my thing here with y'all as well. Thank the family member for chiming in. Thank you, Verlin, for becoming a member. Thank you, Verlin. Much love to your family. Big ups to you. Thank you for that. Kevin says Verlin about to get Superstar Louisiana boy. What up, fam? Good to see you in the chat as well. And if I missed your family, please hit the chat up with a who that, and I'll shout you out. You know, I try to acknowledge all my people. That's what I do, man. Because I respect y'all, man. And this show ain't nothing without the people. I really do believe that. I really do. Seriously. I say it all the time, and I really believe it. Okay, let me share my screen with the family members here and show y'all this. And I know y'all looking at it now. Now, this is the draft, of course, Ruiz. Now, we talked about Cesar Ruiz being there. This is a recap show. I really like the fact that the Saints did get him 6'3", 307 pounds out of Michigan. He was ranked for his position. A lot of people didn't know that he was ranked number 1. Now, to be honest with you, I was looking at several guides dealing with the offensive line position. Of course, center wasn't something that I was fortunately looking at, you know, for obvious reason. But Ruiz was ranked as the top center at his position. Now, I've seen several other boards that had Badowski, who was ahead of him. I've seen a couple other offensive linemen that were ahead of him, but ESPN had him ranked as number 1 in his position. So the Saints were able to get this guy. And at first we was thinking about what position does a Cesar Ruiz fits. We already have a center with McCoy. But the reality is Eric McCoy, this has been broken after the fact, is that McCoy is actually going to move to the guard position, right guard, where Larry Warford is, and Ruiz will occupy the center position. And McCoy is a better guard than he's a center. I've seen him play at center and guard, and many people do acquiesce to that, thinking that he is a better guard than he is as a center. And the reality is, if you just visualize for a second, the Saints line from the center position to the right tackle, it is absolutely amazing. Now, remember, man, it's just Ruiz will occupy this dude. To me, like I've said, watching this footage, this guy is going to be the new LaCharles Bentley. And I mean, a lot of people don't remember LaCharles Bentley and the rest of it. Who that to you? Alan Branch, much love to you. Says, love my home state, Saints. Who that nation? Thank you there. Alan, much love to you. Welcome to the Great Saints Think Tank fam. Anybody else who I didn't chime in and give a shout out to you, please hit that chat up with a who that and I'll give you a shout out. You know how we do. Okay, now back to Cesar Ruiz. Love this move for many reasons. And when the draft happened, remember we were online live when the draft happened that Thursday. I think we did like a 4 or 5 hour show. It was like 4 or 5 hours or something like that. It was supposed to be like, I think it was like 4 or 5. I don't remember. 4 hours, man. We have so many of them. But anyway, I wasn't upset about the pick. A lot of people were upset about the pick. And I was thinking to myself, okay, we got a center. We got McCoy. Obviously, something's going on here. And Ruiz will be that LaCharles Bentley. I promise y'all that. This dude will be every bit of LaCharles Bentley. And people remember LaCharles Bentley, know that he was a serious business. So I like Cesar Ruiz there. Right guard will be Eric McCoy there. That right side of the Saints offensive line, oh my goodness. We talking about Cesar Ruiz, Eric McCoy, and Ryan Ramczyk. Are you serious? Now, of course, you go to the other side's a little older with Pete and Teron Armstead. But that side of the line, oh my goodness, you talking about a top-notch unit of youth right there on that right side. I love it. Absolutely wonderful. Plus, getting McCoy and Ruiz are a lot cheaper than the alternative. Now, of course, you're going to have to pay Ryan Ramczyk in a year, but that just goes without saying. He deserves it. Now, going to the next pick, we talking about Zach Bond, who was ranked second at his position. So the Saints according to ESPN, picked up the best center in the draft. And then later on with with their next pick, the third round pick, 10, they took Wisconsin linebacker Zach Bond. 6'2", some people say 6'3", 240 pounds. He can play outside. Sean Payton mentioned they might play him at inside, but the dude has several applications which he could basically play all over the defense if you need be. Now, if Alex Anzalone is healthy, which I've read several reports and covered it on the show that he is healthy, then he could contribute in the modified nickel package when they only leave 2 linebackers. It'll be Demario Davis and Alex Anzalone. I don't think Zach Bond surpasses Alex Anzalone if he's healthy. If Alex Anzalone's healthy, he will start over Bond. Now, if they go 4-3, you could put Bond out there, but with the modified nickel, I still say they ride with Anzalone for now, him and Demario Davis. Where does that put Zach Bond? As a situational pass rusher. You can then slide, and we talked about this on the draft show, you can just imagine this. You can then slide the Cam Jordan to inside. Davenport can play one edge. Then you move. And of course, the pass rush have Sheldon Rankins out there or David Onyemata, probably Sheldon Rankins. But then you add your NASCAR package becomes exponentially better. I mean, you can slide Cam inside, have Davenport on one side, and then put Zach Bond there and have him to rush as well. And he does feel that situational pass rush ability as well as the youthful linebacker aspect and protection of Demario Davis leaves. He'll be a cheaper version, so he saved money there. So I actually love the pick because I think the guy has a lot of applications and he brings that youth and that situational pass rushing ability to the Saints defense. I'm absolutely big ups and can love this move. Now in the third round, again, the Saints later on traded back up and got and traded all their draft picks to get this kid, Adam Troutman, who was picked as the second best tight end in the draft according to ESPN. So let's get this straight. The Saints, according to ESPN, got the top center. The Saints then got the second best outside linebacker according to ESPN. And then the Saints got the second best tight end according to ESPN. So the Saints provided great value all the way around. Wasn't aware of Troutman, was looking more at our dude, Moss or even Pickney from Vanderbilt. That's another dude I was looking at. But Troutman, I just look right past him. Small school, Dayton, whatever. But the kid he pops on tape. I mean, he absolutely pops on tape. And what need? People say, why the hell they got a tight end? Well, remember the shows before the draft, we were talking about the Saints going back to using 3 tight end packages. Remember those packages they used to run during the Super Bowl year and the years after that where they had immense success with the 3 tight end packages? You remember that? This could be the same thing again. Troutman not only provides that 3 tight end package back, the Saints had so much success in running in Sean's offense, but they also get a potential number 1 tight end next year, not this year, but next year when Jared Cook leaves the team. Troutman will start. I say that he'll get some meaningful reps this year too. If Cook gets hurt again, like he was hurt for a lot of games during the past season, you could see Josh Hill and Troutman step up and get a lot of play. And I'm telling you, they're really high on this kid, and they're looking at this kid maybe, I'm saying next year, taking over the starting position for the Saints. If you watch his footage, he can block, he can catch, he has soft hands. I mean, really good hands, catching one-handed passes. I mean, this kid is terrific. Look what the post-draft analysis said. Troutman is an absolute steal this late in the draft. And while tight end might not be a pressing need for the Saints, adding one makes sense with Cook turning 33 this year. It also makes sense because Cook making $8 million a year. Troutman, guarantee you, won't be nearly as that. So you save money there. It said Troutman can make an impact in a limited role, give Peyton yet another weapon as a rookie, developing starter over time. Next year, this kid will be starting for the Saints at the tight end position. And I'm going to tell you something. Let's make comparisons here. I said that Ruiz reminds me of LaCharles Bentley because that's what it is. I'm pretty sure if I find more of a starting center now to compare him to. But to me, watching his style of play in LaCharles Bentley, the nastiness, I think this kid's a more nasty version of a very young LaCharles Bentley. That's just my take. Zach Bond, to me, if I have to make a comparison, I don't know, man. I don't know about Zach Bond. He's a fantastic. He kind of reminds me a lot of different players, you know, how guys move around. I mean, some aspects, I watched some of his footage and seen him play. Like, and I remember some of his footage kind of remind me of Von Miller when he came from Texas. We see how Von Miller was playing at the University of Texas. This kid reminds me of that footage at Texas, not a completed Pro Bowl level Von Miller, but what I remember seeing out of Texas that made him get all of that hype. And then Troutman, I'm gonna just keep it real. Troutman reminds me of the guy who used to play for the Carolina Panthers who came from Chicago and is with Seattle right now. Greg Olsen. That's who Adam Troutman reminds me of. He reminds me of a bigger, fluid version of Greg Olsen. That's who Troutman reminds me of on tape. That's my opinion. Okay, and then of course the final trade, the Saints did go back in the draft, and you remember Sean Payton was speaking about sticking it to the offensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers, who was going to draft Tommy Stevens. Sean Payton traded back up and stole him in the 7th round. And people saying, why would they take a 7th-round quarterback? Well, the kid is not going to be a quarterback. And Sean Payton made mention of the fact that he does a little bit of everything. I remember one report saying that he kicked the ball, and he did a little kicking stuff. So this is a multiplayer purpose. This, you don't really look at him as a QB. This is a flex player. So I guess if you had to put like a flex category in a draft, Stevens would probably be one of those top guys in the flex category. And that's probably something, because of Taysom, that the NFL is going to start. Everybody's going to start doing that. You're going to have a category called the flex or whatever category, utility or flex player category. Like in college, they have what you call it, the athlete position. Athletes, when you come out of college, when you going into college from high school, the athlete, that's what Tommy Stevens is. And this guy could do it all. I've seen footage of him as a wide receiver. The Saints thinking about using that size. He's 6'5", 240 pounds as a tight end, which will be interesting as well. I just wonder if he can be kept on the practice squad, being that he had negotiations between the Saints and Carolina, and and Sean Payton really wanted them, so they paid this kid the 7th-round draft pick because they wanted to beat out Carolina. So if that's indeed the case, you might have to find a spot for him on the active roster unless you want to lose him during the practice squad. Of course, you can match any offer. You stash him on the practice squad, but we'll see how that works. But this is a flex position. The guy can help you at wide receiver. He can help you at tight end, in multiple application type players. So I'm not upset about that. I said early on about why would you draft a Taysom Hill clone when you could very well just simply draft a Drew Brees clone. I think that went over some people's head. And people were saying, some clown in the chat said, well, man, this guy don't know that we can go back and look at his videos or something. I see all that stuff, man. And a lot of people, I got other people that comment on that. Some people sometimes think it's me. Sometimes a lot of times be me commenting on it. I just keep it real with you. You know, I do a lot of stuff, but one of the things I really want to do is comment. When people comment to me, I won't comment back to theirs. I mean, bottom line. But anyway, my mentality is we need a Drew Brees clone if there's anything, if it's such a thing. If we can find a Taysom, perhaps we can, if we really look, we might be able to find a Drew Brees clone. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, let's get back to the regular stream. And that's something that we talk about on here. Now, like I said, I absolutely like what they're doing, but I love it in comparison to the undrafted guys that the Saints were able to pull in. Now, just give me just a second, and I'll pull a list up the undrafted guys that the Saints did indeed do themselves. And that's one of the fantastic things you got to kind of remember is the fact that the Saints did do a good job. They always do a good job in finding the undrafted guys in most parts. So now while I'm looking for that, I'm going to play an interview here by Cesar Ruiz. We'll play a little bit of the Cesar Ruiz interview. Please no injury. But I'm going to play a little Cesar Ruiz's interview as he he gives his take on coming over and being a New Orleans Saint. So I'm going to tune that up for you momentarily. I love to hear that, man. To be honest with you, he was crying on there. The man is we happy to be a New Orleans Saints player. In just a second, we'll play his interview and hear what Cesar Ruiz's thoughts on becoming a Saint. And I'm going to play the rest of them. I'm going to speed through these and try to play Barn and all of them and get their thoughts, the undrafted guys' thoughts on joining the Saints. So without further ado, let's listen to Ruiz and his thoughts. Here is our first-round draft pick, Cesar Ruiz.
From when you got picked and just, you know, how your life is different now than it was at this time yesterday. And again, your thoughts on joining the Saints.
Yeah, it's a surreal feeling. Never knew what organization I was going to play for. I'm just blessed for it to be in New Orleans. And, 24 hours ago, I was sitting in my room, just sitting here praying and just had so much going on through my mind about where I would end up. And, all that stress is gone. And it's just an amazing feeling right now. That's all gone. I'm with an amazing organization.
Great. We'll open it up to questions and obviously probably give the preference to the TV folks because they got a little shortchanged last night.
Well, I'll lead it off while they're thinking of their questions. Cesar, what does it mean for you to represent your hometown, Camden, in the NFL and being a first-round pick?
Yeah, it means everything. After I got drafted, I made a post and basically directed towards all the kids in Camden who have a dream. And I took my time to make a post to them and just let them know that I did it. And I was in your shoes at one point. And I basically just sent some motivation their way and let them know, like, anything's possible. Just put your mind to it and believe in yourself if nobody else does. So that's what it means to me for my city. Just go ahead and motivate everybody as much as I can. Let them know everything's possible. Just look at me.
Did you have anybody like that growing up there?
Somebody that was like in my shoes growing up.
Somebody that you looked at as like a role model for coming from Camden and going out and making something like that.
Nobody really from Camden that I looked up to that was going to the NFL. Really, there was somebody that was my high school teammate. He was I believe he's like 3 years older than me, Sean Chandler. He plays for the New York Giants, and we played high school together. I was a freshman the same year, and what he really did was once he went to the Giants, he basically just let everybody know, like, it's possible. Just work hard, and this is possible.
Cesar, Sean Payton said he didn't draft you. He drafted you to come in and start. Did you hear him say that? And what is your reaction to that?
Yeah, I heard that on Twitter when I was scrolling through everything, and it makes sense. You wouldn't take somebody this high for them to just sit back and just watch. Coach thinks very highly of me, and he believes in my abilities. And that's just when he said that, it's really just motivated me even more to know I got to come in and work hard because once I get out there, I'm gonna be on the field.
Hey, Caesar.
That's Caesar
how much
Reeves, y'all.
contact?
That's Caesar Reeves breaking down some of his thoughts. Right behind him, y'all, I'm going to spin Zach Bourne. Give me a second. We're going to play Zach Bourne, too, because he had a lot of interesting stuff to say, too. Now, this is the great thing about having these young guys here is that you really see at a high level, man, what the Saints are doing in terms of picking up quality players. This dude, a lot of people in the city didn't like the fact that they brought Reeves on, but I promise you that down the line, a lot of people are going to eventually change their minds about Caesar Reeves. I promise you that much. Now let's get in. Let's queue up in just a second. Zach Bourne, and Zach Bourne had to say about joining the New Orleans Saints. This is a guy that a lot of people really like, but like I said, the Saints really got some quality guys coming in here to help empower the team. So it's just terrific, man. Here is Zach Bourne's thoughts on joining the Saints.
Senior game, and then I had a informal meeting with them at the combine as well. So I met with them twice throughout the whole process.
Zach, do you see yourself as an edge rusher, or can you play off the ball, or do both, or is it versatility? How do you see your game translating to the NFL?
That's kind of the big question. I obviously I'm most comfortable on the edge. That's where I spent most of all my time in college. But I really just consider myself a linebacker that can do a lot of different things, and I think my versatility is my biggest attribute, my biggest asset.
And are you comfortable in coverage? I know you probably didn't do a ton of it in college, but like if you got asked, do you feel like you could do it?
Oh, absolutely. I played outside linebacker, mostly on the line. I got to do a lot of things in college, rush the passer and drop in coverage. So I'm definitely comfortable doing all of the above.
Zach, how ready are you, I guess, to hit the ground running because of the abbreviated, off season with, pretty much the team only meeting until training camps? I guess everybody's going to have to hit the ground running, especially you young guys.
Yeah, I mean, with this whole COVID stuff going on, it's not an ideal situation, but I'm definitely going to make the most of it, get my playbook as soon as I can, just so that I'm up to par when the time comes.
That's Zach Bourne. Like what he's talking about. He can do the coverage. He said most of his applications in college, he was a situational pass rusher. We know that Coach Payton knew that as well, and I think that's a terrific thing to be able to then land this guy. To get a guy, a situational pass rusher, and a linebacker prospect, very wise move, very smart move, to kill two birds, one stone kind of thinking. I really appreciate that because I was talking about situational pass rushers and we need help. And they went and grabbed these guys. So really terrific. Here's Adam Troutman's coming up next, family. We're going to play Adam Troutman next and hear what he had thought, his thoughts on joining the Black and Gold. Here's Troutman.
If that's such a word, and then the little red thingy over there and join the New Orleans media. There you go. Welcome.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm excited.
We'll begin by where are you right now and your thoughts on being drafted by the Saints.
Yeah, I'm actually in Dayton, Ohio right now. Just like I'd planned to be throughout this process, obviously even before the coronavirus hit. But I'm super excited to be a part of the New Orleans Saints organization and super excited to, get my foot in the building eventually and get to work.
Hey, Adam, how much contact did you have with the Saints kind of leading up to tonight's selection?
Honestly, not as much. I didn't have too much. I knew they were interested in me and liked me as a player and person and everything like that, but I didn't have too much coming into it.
Adam,
I imagine it's got to be.
Did you have any idea how high that interest was, Adam? You said you knew they were interested in you, but did you have any idea how intense that interest was?
No, not really, honestly. I talked to my agent about it, obviously going through every single team in the league, and yeah, he did mention that the interest from the Saints was high, but nothing like super high or out of this world or anything like that I knew of.
Never know, man. You really don't. You never know who's looking at you. Even though the Saints never really truly officially spoke to Troutman, boy, did they move heaven and earth. And that just goes to show you, you never know who's watching you in terms of what kind of talent level and the Saints see with this fantastic tight end. And he, like I said, the kid reminds me of Greg Olsen. That's just what my take on it is. Anyway, let me then move on to the undrafted list for the family members to cover the undrafted stuff so we can get into a bit of that as well. Now, here's the undrafted list. 13 players overall, starting with wide receiver Marquez Callaway from Tennessee. Callaway had 92 passes in 42 games. His numbers are not, his catches is not, his combination of catches is not what's really exciting. What's really exciting about Callaway is he's so versatile. And I mean versatile is in terms of he punt returns, on the special teams, which could be a way that he sticks on a team that he plays special teams. He scored 3 times for the Vols, averaged just under 14 yards per return. That's damn good. And like I said, caught 92 passes in 42 games. But it's not that he's just a physical wide receiver with speed. The guy can high point the ball. Very physical, talented wide receiver. I really like Marquez Callaway. Next one is Kelvin Throckmorton from Oregon. This is another really interesting player. He plays guard and center as well. He played 45 games, 40 of them at the right side, and they paid him a fully guaranteed base of $100,000, $110,000 plus a $12,000 signing bonus. For Throckmorton, they really like him, but a multi-talented player with a lot of accolades. Jordan Steckler from Northern Illinois is another guy. Not much film on him. I've seen a few pieces of tape on him, more of a developmental guy, but he's another guy that could play multiple positions, tackle and guard. You look at the next guy is Malcolm Roach. We made fun of the Roach is in a house, but Roach is a guy that is very talented, 6'2", 300 pounds, very fast on the 40-yard dash, 4.84, pretty good. The Saints agreed to like a 95 G's for him to come aboard the team. He's very interesting because he comes from Texas. The other guy we have from Texas that's an interior lineman is Malcolm Brown. So those guys are fantastic. Roach could be this year's Shy Tuttle. So the Saints just keep getting better on the interior of the line. Next one, offensive tackle, Darren Paulo from Utah. This is another dude that plays multiple positions and comes with quite a few accolades, 6'5", big old arms and everything. And he is also an interesting talent that plays multiple positions. Running back Tony Jones Jr. from Notre Dame. Excellent player. Didn't wow me with the rushing attempts this year, but was a part of a very talented draft class. This kid is a perfect type of running back. He with the Saints, he wear a gold helmet with Notre Dame. He's going to wear a gold helmet with the Saints. He averaged 6 yards per carry on 144 attempts. He had 27 passes. If you watch the film on Tony Jones Jr., he's not just a north-south runner. The dude can make cuts, and he sticks out that arm's difficult to bring down. He has some wiggle with him, and he can catch the ball. This is a solid signing for the Saints in terms of them getting a guy that can actually hit the hole with a head of steam and keep going. I've said it in the early portion of the show. I think Tony Jones Jr. is Dwayne Washington, an upgrade. He's Dwayne Washington, then some. He can catch the ball as well. I like this kid, and we'll see if he can stick and stay on the team and beat Dwayne Washington out, because that's who we're basically looking at. Cornerback Keith Washington from West Virginia. Played in 22 games over the last couple of years. Had 5 interceptions, 18 pass defense, 6'1", a cornerback with size and attacks the balls. Have no problem going after the interceptions. Physical wide receiver as well. Like I said, I like his size, decent speed, technique lead a little bit, but the guy is a good cornerback. Linebacker Joe Bessie from Michigan State, who a lot of people rank down on him because he's not super athletic. He had 8.5 tackles for the loss in the last 3 seasons, but he led the team in tackles, in total tackles, twice. So, I mean, Bessie might not be the most physical or the most athletic specimen you have, but what he misses in athleticism, he gains every bit of intelligence and heart. There's such a thing as a football player. That's what you would call Joe Bessie. And I would indeed call him the poor man's Luke Kuechly. If you look at his footage, he just reminds me of Luke Kuechly so much. Poor man version anyway. Jawan Johnson, wide receiver out of Oregon, big guy, 6'4", 230. He had 111 passes in college, gaining 1590. He has great size. His speed is pretty decent as well. Not that great at 4.58, not bad for a guy his size, but his real tangible is that he is very physical, and I'm looking at him saying, tough guy to bring down, weapon in the red zone. Would love to see him on the field on Sundays or Saturdays or whenever they're going to play. Both of those wide receiver prospects are absolutely awesome to me. This is probably one of my least favorite. Probably Gus Cumberlander, big offensive lineman, 6'7", 250 something. Effort guy. I watched some limited tape on him. He appeared in 13 games, 6.5 sacks, recovered a couple of fumbles. He's a long shot to make the team, but you never know. And then another defensive back is Tino Ellis from Maryland, another 6'1" guy, 32 games in 4 years, 73 tackles, 54 solo, had 21 pass defense, had only 1 interception, which he returned 44 yards, and he played at the cornerback position, but he also played a little safety as well. That's why they call him a DB there, because they moved him a little bit, but primarily at cornerback. Another 6-foot guy, 6'1" guy, cornerback that the Saints have that does have potential. And then the most curious of the undrafted guys was Blake Gillikin from Penn State, who is a punter, but a lot of people bring him to see what he is. Knows the Saints have known the stash kickers. Remember, before they signed Will Lutz, they put him on the practice squad before they ultimately signed him. So Gillikin might be a guy the Saints looking at down the line, because Thomas Morstead might be getting close to retirement, and Blake Gillikin might be the guy that comes to replace him. Who knows? But it's a reason why you bring a punter into the team. Or, could this be Morstead's final year? We don't know, but he's been around for a while, so we'll just have to see. We don't talk that much about Thomas Morstead because I consider him a Hall of Famer, the best punter the game ever seen. I mean, the guy is so accurate with his foot that it's almost like he takes the ball and throw it inside of the 20-yard line or inside the 5-yard line, how he pins teams against their own goal. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. And Blake Gillikin is another guy with potential that the Saints are looking at. We'll have to maintain and see that one. And then finally, offensive lineman Adrian McGee, who started at both the tackle spots and guard. See what I'm saying? See the routine with the Saints and these offensive linemen that can play multiple positions. And predominantly on the left side, he started 20 or 40 games in college, 15 starts at left guard. He offers that depth and flexibility at the position. And he's a nasty offensive lineman, big guy with an attitude. Be interested to see if the Saints could be able to make sure Adrian Griffin stays on the team. We'd love to see that, man. Okay, let's move on to the next one. We're going to jump over to ourlads.com. This is where you can see the unofficial depth chart from the New Orleans Saints. And let's take a look at it. As you can see, clearly here, this is the starting starters here, backups, 1, 2, 3, and beyond. But if you look at it, you see all the undrafted guys and drafted guys are now added to the team. You can see the undrafted guys and the drafted guys marked in green, here. And you see at the top, you see Drew Brees and Alvin Kamara. And we go down each position and start with the quarterback position. Drew Brees, Taysom, Jameis Winston is there. And then, of course, Tommy Stevens is there. So 4 wide quarterbacks. And then running backs, Kamara, Latavius Murray, Dwayne Washington. Ricky Ortiz is actually the fullback behind Michael Burton, who's the fullback. So Ortiz and Burton will battle for the fullback position. That Zach Line left. And then, of course, Mizell Toquan, who does play, who is a running back, a speedster, is there. And then because you got Tony Jones thrown in that mix as well as the running back. Tight end, Jared Cook, Josh Hill, Troutman's there. And then, of course, Garrett Griffin, Jason Vanderland, and Cole Wick, the undrafted guys on the practice squad's player. Of course, the Saints offensive lineman is Stan. Of course, McCoy and Ruiz. You need to switch these right here. Ruiz is center, McCoy go here. Next to Ryan Ramczyk, Pete and Teron Armstead is there. And then our wide receivers, Mike Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders. And then if you go behind our offensive linemen, starting with Ramczyk, Ethan Greenwich is right there. Behind Aaron McCoy, who's supposed to be right here, will be Larry Warford, who's definitely going to be released or settled with. And then you got Cameron Tom, who the Saints brought back on a 1-year deal. And then at the center position, which is supposed to be Reeves, it'll be Nick Eason who's sitting there, Kelvin Throckmorton who plays the position, then Andrews Pete, then it's Derek Kelly II who also plays tackle, and Will Clapp. You can switch these because Clapp will probably play here, and Derek Kelly II will play behind Armstead. And then you have guys like Paulo, McGee, Throckmorton, and the rest. If you go to the wide receivers behind Emmanuel Sanders, Traquan Smith's there, but Tim White and Maurice Harris, who we got to keep an eye on. I'm really big on him. Tim White's still a project. Is an relative unknown. We'll keep an eye on him. But Maurice Harris, in my opinion, is somebody that I'm gonna keep an eye on. And behind Mike Thomas, Deontay Harris, the Pro Bowler, LaJardan Humphreys, Krishan Hogan, Emmanuel Butler, and Tommy Lee Lewis is still on the team. For those who didn't know, Saints signed him late last year. All right, and going to the defensive side of things, we got Cam Jordan there. Sheldon Rankins, who I don't think this should be the case. Malcolm Brown should be here. Sheldon will probably come off the bench. And then David Oyemada's right there next to Davenport. Then the linebackers is listed as Azzaloni, Demario Davis, and Kiko Alonso. I disagree with that. I don't think Kiko Alonso will be ready to play. I think you probably will put Demario at the middle position or put him at middle linebacker and move Zach Bond here at the weak side position with those guys in that base 4-3 package. Then behind these guys, I'm going to go through their backups after I go through the starters. Janoris Jenkins redid his contract. Marshawn Lattimore has one more year extended on his deal for him and Ramczyk. Then Malcolm Jenkins and Marcus Williams. We should see a very vast improvement from Marcus Williams this year because of his mentorship from Malcolm Jenkins will definitely help him to become a better player. No doubt about it in my book. Now let's go behind these guys. Cam Jordan, behind him is Carl Granderson. Then you have Malcolm Brown, who should start right here with Sheldon Rankins. And Trey Hendrickson's behind Davenport. Then you have guys like Noah Spence there. The interior lineman, Marcus Hunt, who's just added. Shy Tuttle, Mario Edwards Jr., Jalen Dalton, Taylor Stallworth, and the Roach himself sitting back there. So we should see him. I'm looking at him to have some type of process like Shy Tuttle did. Mario Edwards Jr., in my opinion, is in trouble. Then Lowen Mitchell is still on the team. And then, of course, Gus Cumberlander is there. Going to the linebackers, we spoke about. Behind him is Chase Hansen. A lot of people high on him. The ever-aging Craig Robertson is there. Andrew Dowell, who has potential. And, of course, you see Joe Bashie is there. And Caden Ellis. Let's not forget about Caden Ellis and a role that he will play moving ahead in the linebacker position. In the secondary, they got P.J. Williams at cornerback. Hopefully not. He'll switch out with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, be a safety. Johnson will sit here. Patrick Robinson is here. Then you got DJ Swearinger back here at the other safety position. Saquon Hampton, Chris Johnson. JT Gray is here as well. Dietrich Nichols, who plays cornerback, will be a wild card there in the cornerback position. Then, of course, you have guys like Tino Ellis and Keith Washington. They re-signed Johnson Batamosi as well with Justin Hardy, the work in the special teams area. So we'll just have to maintain that. And, of course, special teams, we have Thomas Morstead, Will Lutz, Zach Line, who signed a 4-year deal there. And then, of course, pretty much the kick return is Deontay Harris, Kamara Hill are the backups. And behind Morstead is Gillikin to provide some training there. So we'll see just how well that is. But this is the unofficial Saints depth chart. I just wanted to show it with you guys to give you a look at the team overall and see how deep the team really is. So when you see all the pieces drafted, all the pieces move around, the signings of players, you can see it all culminate with the unofficial depth chart. You see Emmanuel Sanders there. Emmanuel Sanders at the wide receiver position. Ruiz next to McCoy in the center of the interior of the offensive line. You see where Troutman fits in the position. Zach Bowen ultimately is going to play some of the linebacker position as a situational pass rusher. I can see them using him in a multitude of different ways. But still in all, I like what the Saints are doing to keep it real with you. Now that you see what I see when I about the unofficial depth chart and you see what I'm looking at, you can see that I see that the Saints have done a pretty damn good job of addressing needs and situations, to be honest with you. They really have done a pretty good job. Who that to your Trail Hatch? I see your family. Good to see you in the chat as well. Big ups to your Trail. Paulie, Uncle Paulie. What up, Uncle Paulie? Speaker the angel. They said Uncle Paulie been absent and pops Uncle Paulie. Big ups to my boy Paul in the chat. Good to see your family. And the live stream, as well. Uncle Paulie is in the building. Our resident historian, Uncle Paulie. Randy McGovern says, can Tony Jones play fullback? That's a good question, Randy. I'm not certain on that. It would be interesting to use him. Adrian, who that to you, Adrian? Good to see Adrian in the building. Adrian. Good to see Uncle Paulie in the building and Adrian, some of the veteran great Saints think tankers. Randy, that's a great question, Randy. I don't know. I've never, based on what I've seen from him, I haven't seen that he played that position, fullback, but it would add another veneer to it, wouldn't it? If you could use him at the fullback position, actually have a running back that could play fullback, that can catch out the backfield, you never know, because if you have a back like that who could play both, imagine if you have him in front of a guy like Latavius Murray, and you give him the ball as opposed to a slowful, big plotting fullback. I agree. I don't think he does the position, but that's very interesting, though. That's a good thought to add to it. So appreciate you for that, Randy. Who that to you as well. All right, family. Much love to all the family members in the building. Let's see. Eric says the undrafted defensive tackles we've been getting late have been great every year. I mean, we've been hitting on it straight up. Shy Tuttle, Taylor Stallworth. Now you got Big Malcolm Roach. I mean, absolutely fantastic. We've been hitting on guys. Then you talk about some of the older guys, like remember back in the days, we had guys like Tom Johnson, and which not too long ago, guys like what's the kid name? Mitchell Lowen is on the team now. He was pretty good in the interior line. The problem with Mitchell Lowen is he gets hurt too much. But boy, does he have a motor, and when he's in the game, boy, is he impactful. But he can't stay in the game. That's the problem. Bet Decia says, what happened to Caden? Caden is healthy. He's 100% healthy. And he got hurt last year in the preseason, missed the entire season. The Saints could have brought him back later in the year. They opted just to leave him, let him build himself back up. But him and Irvin Alexander are totally healthy. Who that to my boy Crass in the building as well. Good to see you, Crass. Much love to your family. Good to see you. Hope everything is well. Kelvin Griffin, who that to you as well. He said, well, wait till the Ravens drop Scott Steiner's son and pick him up as a fullback. That would be awesome too. I love to have a big a fullback that play a little running back as well, family, just to keep it honest with you. You know what I'm saying? Just to keep it honest with you. But we'll see how it shakes, man. But I'm liking, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the Great Saints think tank is liking that undrafted room. How everything looking with the defense. So at this point in time, family, I'm going to open up the landlines and allow the family members to chime in on their thoughts on the team as well. So if you want to get on the Great Saints think tank, lines are open. Feel free to call, and they'll be open for the next 45 minutes to an hour as we go in all in. Uncle Paulie says, Big Q, open up the lines. Yes, sir. Uncle Paulie, yes, sir. Our resident historian, the lines are open, 504-475-4482. Live lines are open and ready for your call. So if you want to get in there and tell me what you, in the grace of the Great Saints think tank, what the hell you think about the Saints draft, the free agency. I just showed you the undrafted. We just went over the entire draft and undrafted, drafted and undrafted guys. Complete, it's a mini breakdown. We did more of a thorough breakdown on more on the TSC Q&A. That's what this show is basically about. We did a breakdown on, you can join Patreon for that, the link in the description section. But that was a breakdown on the draft as well as the undrafted guys, and showed you an undrafted position as well. So, in terms of talent as far as they go. But also to mention, we talked about the guy that the team brought on, Margus Hunt, who's another interesting thing. Now, of course, this guy's not Everson Griffin, and the Saints signed him to come on here and play defensive end. I know Jim Kevin sent me a message. Jim Kev was too crazy about him. But if you look at Margus Hunt's film, he looks like Trey Hendrickson. I mean, that's my take on it. I'm like, man, this guy looks just like Trey Hendrickson. Are we signing Trey Hendrickson clones now? Because that's what this guy looks like to me. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. Now he's a energy an effort guy. He's a big guy. He's physical, but he's impactful in spurts. It's not like he's dominating, getting out there and tearing the building down, all at once. Thank you, Crass. Appreciate your family. Says Q, who is your dark horse undrafted player with the best chance to make the final roster? Good question, family. The best undrafted guy to make the roster. That will be a good question, because if you look at some of the undrafted guys in dark horse, if I had to, I'll give you two, bro. I like Adrian McGee from LSU because he could play multiple positions. He's big, he's physical, and I would love to see Will Clapp and Adrian McGee, two LSU offensive linemen. But I like his chances because of his versatility, his strength, and he's a really good lineman. I'm telling you, he's really good. And then, of course, another dark horse to me. Actually, I can give you several of them. I think Joe Bessie. You could put Joe Bessie down there because there's a need for a guy like Bessie. I'm pretty sure that he could play special teams as well. His mentality can lend to special teams. So, I would like McGee. I think Joe Bessie really has a great chance to linebacker out of Michigan State who could play inside linebacker. I like him a lot. I think he has a really good chance of making the team. And perhaps the running back, Tony Brown Jr., out of Notre Dame, can make it. The wide receivers, we'll see, because, boy, it's a deep room. And it depends on how many guys the Saints keep, because to be honest with you, there are 3 guys already on the team. Actually, 4 guys that's already on the team. I don't see the Saints getting rid of Traquan Smith unless something terrible happened. But you got to look at Mike Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, Traquan Smith, and Deontay Harris. That's 4 right there. So how many slots are you going to keep for wide receiver? That's why it's going to be difficult for any undrafted guys. They got to completely blow away the camp to get a spot at the wide receiver. But I like the running back out of Notre Dame, and I do like Joe Bessie. So I guess if you say Q, just take one of them. I would say Joe Bessie from Michigan State, the linebacker. He probably fits the mold, and definitely the Saints need that athletic edge, that youth edge, and that linebacker course. So Joe Bessie, I narrow it down and say Joe Bessie. Thank you for your donation, Crass. Much love to your family. Appreciate you. Much love to you. Now, getting back into this guy, Margus the Unmagnificent. Margus Hunt is an interesting character because the Saints bring him in. Just give me just a second, family. I'll bring up and share the article with you so we can go over this as well. Because Hunt is the newest addition to the Saints locker room. Saints signed him, and he'll come in and participate as an offensive line. A lot of people was waiting to see the Saints take a Everson Griffin, but obviously Hunt is a cheaper version, and perhaps the Saints are doing. As you can see, he's a cheap option. He reminds me, like I said, I looked at his footage. He reminds me of Trey Hendrickson, just a bigger version of Trey Hendrickson. Hendrickson's like 6'3". This guy is 6'4", 6'5". But let's look at he says he played 450 snaps during 16 games 2019. Poor performance saw him demoted to a backup role just a few weeks into the season. And that's what I've seen on the film too. I've seen that he's impactful in spurts. He doesn't play with that same impactfulness for the duration of the time that he's in a game. He has lull in performances, which will better serve him as a reserve player, where he can be able to put it together, because spurts like that will serve a reserve player. That's why they're not supposed to be starters. They hadn't figured out how to put it all together on every play. But he broke out in 2018 with 13 quarterback pressures. He had a career-high 5 sacks. They consider him a fine addition to the line. Very stacked power line. The Saints have a number of quality linemen behind Cameron Davenport, Sheldon Rankins, and Malcolm Brown. You have David Onyemata, Shai Tuttle, Taylor Stallworth. Then you look at guys like Malcolm, and the rest of those guys, Malcolm Brown, Malcolm Roach, and the rest of those guys. A lot of people, a lot of competition. Mitchell Lowen and all those guys. And they said he rose to prominence after a huge combine performance in 2013. He timed the 40-yard dash with 4.6 flat. Not bad. Not bad. And I think I wanted to say I watched that combine footage of him running. So it's interesting. He reminds me so much of Trey Hendrickson. If he could put it together, it'll be so much special. The guy's 6'8". He's 280 pounds. They have him as an interior lineman. even though you can move him outside and let him play on the edge if you need be. But 40-yard dash at 4.6 for a big guy at 6'8", 270, that's pretty damn good. And he's pretty strong with 38 reps on the bench. So that's pretty gifted. But he couldn't stick and stay with the Bengals or the Colts. Maybe he could stick and stay down here. Now they saying that Ryan Nielsen, who how much we got love from Ryan Nielsen, who's done a hell of a job with the Saints defensive line and teaching their fundamentals. Like I said, when he first was brought on here from South Carolina, I said, this guy's going to get Cam together. You're going to see the best. And Cam had one of his best seasons last year. Had he not had that groin injury, I'm pretty sure Cam would have gotten at least 2 or 3 more sacks in there. But of course, you know, there was a lot of doubling and sometimes triple teaming that Cam had to deal with because no pressure was on the other side of the line. So injuries also kind of stifled Cam, as well as injuries to other players as they were able to double him down. But they're anticipating Hunt to come in and contribute. Now, he can play inside, outside, and notice that seems to be the trend with the Saints getting these linemen. But like I said, the guy is 6'8", 280 pounds. He reminds me of a bigger version of Trey Hendrickson, just a little bit faster and perhaps better. We'll see. But it's a pretty decent addition. You had Noah Spencer, Carl Granderson. These are still question mark guys, in my opinion. These guys are not, we got this guy, we're going to the bowl. That's not what you have here. This is another guy that'll come in and give quality reps when given the time. Now, remember, he still have to compete with a guy like Zach Bourne. Could a Margus Hunt be out of Zach Bourne? Could he perhaps, maybe he could beat out of Trey Hendrickson? But the Saints are tired of Trey Hendrickson constantly hurt all the time. I've named it and put it out there. I say he hurt more than Davenport, and Davenport started, and you a backup. So, I mean, it gets tiresome, man. You're a situational pass rusher. You are counted on. You have to come in the game and get sacks to the team, and perhaps that's what Zach Bourne can provide some help there. Okay, going back to the chat, Kelvin says the O-lineman only one got a shot at making the roster. Well, perhaps. The running back position is another position behind Dwayne Washington. Dwayne might not be all that together. If Tony Jones has a solid camp, he could really push Dwayne Washington, especially due to the injuries that happened with Sean Payton, with Elvin Kamara last year. The Saints could use a quality running back like Tony Jones Jr., I think his name is Tony Jones Jr. there. So we never know. We'll see. Offensive lineman definitely, but Joe Bessie does have an opportunity to make it too. Now remember, family, he is a guy that sits back there who can help. I mean, like I said, the guy pops on tape. Trust me, he does. He's going to do it in camp. Watch. All right, Irv says 4-3 don't change what's working. Jerome says Q, he might not get hurt like Henderson. Okay. Irv says Marcus the Magnificent Hunt. Scoop says Q, what website is that you're using? For the Saints Wire, for that Saints article on Marcus Hunt called the Saints Wire. Saints Wire. 985 Live says if we rotate him, he might be impactful. Could work. You know, if we can keep him fresh and he gets those spurts where he's impactful. He just wasn't impactful as a starter. Now he played well last year, but we'll see. Some players are just like that. That's what make backups and starters. Starters know how to turn it on for the duration of the game, and most other guys, the reserves don't. They hit it in spurts. So we'll see how it goes. I think it's a good addition to the team because you can never have too many speedy defensive linemen to help the team. You throw as many of them as you can. And my thing is we need a guy that has a reputation of getting to the quarterback. And I think Everson Griffin or Marcus Golden would probably be better namesakes. But we'll see, man. Zach Bourne might help out in that as well. Okay, let's see. Paul says 6'8", 270. Hunt should be dominating at defensive end. Scoop say he has Brian Young with him as pass rush specialist. Q. Yeah, he does. Brian Young, former Ram, and he played for the Saints as well. He's the pass rush specialist. Yeah, that's right. So thank you for that as well, Q. Ryan Nielsen do a good job, and you got to give credit too to Brian Young as well. So thank you for that, Scoop. Irvin says Roach no one's going to stop him. Scoop said you asked about the website he was using. It's Saints Wire. Saints Wire. Very good website. One of the resources that we use at the Great Saints Think Tank. Sigler is the writer, and we're working on getting him on the show. He writes a lot of really good articles. Really smart dude. But we got a combination of different sports people that really that are really awesome, writing really great articles. And I shed articles and give credit to those writers as well. Trust me, they watch this stuff, family. They do. Paul says, hey, Q, what defense do the Saints need to run, 4-3 or 3-4 to the personnel on that side of the ball? I think 4-3 is a better defense for the Saints. I think that's a better defense, to be honest with you. I like the 43. I wouldn't want to change it. Now, of course, they're going to go to that modified nickel package where you have two of your most athletic linebackers on the field, and that's fine. But really, the base defense is 4-3. I think the Saints' strength is in the 4-3, not the 3-4, because you have more impactful interior linemen than you do have linebackers. Because once you get past Demario Davis, Alexander Loney, and the rookie Zach Bond, what do you have? You got Caden Ellis, who's a young player with a lot of potential, and then you got an old aging Craig Robertson out there. No disrespect to Craig, but each year he gets a little slower and slower. So you have more depth and impactfulness in the interior defensive line than your linebacker core. Now, if that's the case, 43 will better serve you than a 3-4. So that's my take on it. Thank you for that question, Paul. Derek says having the Saints alumni interview rookies is genius and funny as hell. Yeah, it is funny. Jerome says with Hunt Q, they have a 4 defense in on third down. That's true too, because you can put them on the inside. You can move them interior. I mean, it gives you, if he makes the team, it gives you a lot of looks on defense that the Saints could have. And like I said, I'm not mad at the move. I was looking for something a little bit more namesake-ish than Hunt, but I mean, it is what it is. The guy, it can put some pressure. Like I said, I watched him. He looked like a big Trey Hendrickson to me. You know, that's just what it is. Maybe you can't have one, you get 2 of them. One go down, you got the other one, right? Jerome says, Irvin says 6'8", 280, 4.6 damn, he should be killing people. 38 reps. Wow, he can't put it together all the time. That's the problem. We'll see down here. We got some help. We might be able to help him. Ramsey says, I got Everson on my Christmas list. I agree with you, fam. The Saints free up some money from the rest of from Nick Eason and Larry Warford, perhaps P.J. Williams. We have enough money to be able to make a go at a guy like that, but might not be on the wish list there for the Saints. Ram says, Derek says 4-3, it's not broke, don't fix it. It's simple, that's right. Scoop says, Q, do you think with the addition of an athletic pass catcher tight end, we will run a lot of 12 personnel plays? 12 personnel plays. 12 personnel plays. I don't know, Q. I don't know on that one, Scoop. I know with the athletic pass catching, like if you have those 3 tight end plays the Saints used to run where they run them tight ends, one go up, the other one go out this way, the other stand and block. It provides, you can run out of that. I mean, it's so many different things you can do with those packages. I'm not certain on that. I'm not certain on that one. I'm gonna have to look that one up. So I'm sorry I couldn't answer that one for you. But the tight end only thing I can say is the tight end package that the Saints run that I was kind of basically on the mic spitting about before the draft was the fact that I remember the Saints they did so well with that package. You had to treat the tight ends and the fullback and the running back and all that kind of stuff. And it really helped out in those times. And then we stopped using it because we didn't have the personnel to run it. And it's shameful. You know, it was a shame. And a lot of that offense went away and we started getting into the gimmick stuff. And when I talk about gimmick offense, I get upset because I remember so much of the great offense we used is still there. We just have to find the personnel to fit it. And we're not focusing on the personnel to be able to then sit in that position to operate. And that's why I get upset with the gimmick stuff, because I can understand throwing that at it every now and again to kind of surprise your opponent. But now it is not really gimmick no more. People saying gimmick can't be a gimmick anymore because it's now a part of your baseline offense. It's a part of the baseline offense. You're running several plays of games for the guy. I mean, gimmick mean every now and again. But no, this is not a gimmick. This mainstay offense now that you want to use that in there. And I'm saying, well, that's fine, but let's not get away from all the other stuff that can help in games when they lock down your gimmick guy, when they know he's going to get the ball. How about doing something else? It gives your offensive playbook more depth And you know, when you march out the 3 tight ends out there and say, go get the first down on short and 1, or you march your 3 tight ends out there with your fullback, say, go give me a touchdown with Latavius Murray running behind him. Could you imagine that? That's what I'm saying. The Saints, when they get tired of playing finesse football, they can just say, you know what, it's time to ground and pound, baby. And they put them all in there and let Latavius Murray run behind 3 tight ends and the fullback and watch what happened behind that mean, nasty interior line that they have with Reed sitting in there and McCoy. So like I said, it opens up a number of applications, and I'm just happy that they have another great tight end piece there that they'll take serious enough to implement in those 3 tight end positions, because they're going to throw to that guy, that tight end Troutman. Appreciate the question, Scoop. All right, let's keep it going, family. Remember, the live lines is open to 504-475-4482. We're going to keep the lines open for another 30 minutes, maybe to about 8-ish, a little past 8 perhaps. Live lines open right now, 504-475-4482. Live lines are open, currently open, family. So feel free to get your call in while they're open, because probably a little bit after 8, we're going to shut them and close them. So, all right, let's keep on reading some of the questions. 985 Live say, I like Craig on special teams, but starting, he don't have sideline speed no more. No, he's getting older in the tooth, and could be his last year after this year. If these young linebackers come on like we thinking they can come on, this could be problematic for Craig Robertson this year. So we'll see how that works. Paul said, his Q, what the Saints have done to improve the run blocking on special teams this season? That's a good question. And that's something that I would anticipate getting better, because the special teams coach that they picked up from from Miami, that came over, that was his first year trying to rework things, and you've seen a mess like this, that, and third, but just see improvement. This is a really good special teams coach the Saints have, and the Saints have brought back the majority of their aces on special teams. So look at the fact the Saints could be very well on special teams, bro, doing a lot better work. I'm really anticipating that the Saints special teams will get severely better. I mean, in the blocking and everything, because the system that the special teams coach was trying to implement last year, they have a second year in it, and they should improve upon it. Just like you expect the defense to improve and the offense to improve year with Sean Payton and Dennis Allen operating. This special teams coach is a really good coach and has success and improving and having really good special teams. You know, under his guidance, under his stewardship, we were able to get Deontay Harris a Pro Bowl kick return, punt return. First time we had one of them since Michael Lewis was here. So a lot of credit could be given to the special teams coach as well. And I only anticipate the special teams getting better and better as they get further into his system. This is a really good special teams coach we have here. I hope he stick around for a while. Lance Kelly, who that, Lance? I see your family. Big up to you. Irvin says, tell you a lot about Cam Jordan doing double work of 2 players and never misses a game. He was playing hurt and still played the last 4 games of the season and the playoffs. They said he got hurt, and I think they said he got hurt in the game with Davenport got hurt. I won't say they said that. I'm not certain, but he never quit. He wasn't as impactful, but he was on the field. You can't say nothing bad about Cam. But Cam, he's 30 years old now, and the Saints need help. They got to help Cam, man. They can't continue to let Cam just be out there like that. They got to provide some pass rushing and give him a break. No doubt about it. Let's see. Derek says that depends on how Troutman pick up the playbook. It will be awesome, though. I think he'll do fine. Remember, they gave up all of the picks. They picked up a 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th round. They gave up all the remaining picks in the rest of that draft so that they could take this guy. He will see the field. He'll be at the 3rd tight end package, but still in all. You know, the Saints he's going to be an active player on the Saints roster. They're going to carry 3 tight ends, and I'm telling you, they're going to use this dude. They're going to use this dude. So, like I said, we're gonna keep moving. So we'll see how it go, Derek. We'll see. But I'm telling you, he's gonna be a starter for him, not this year, but the following year. Watch. Ramsey says, Schools, I'm with you on those double tight end plays. Double and triple tight end play. I'm telling you, you're gonna see triple the 3 tight end. Remember this great Saints thing playing. Remember that the fact that the Saints used to run out 3 tight ends with a fullback and used to put in that work. when it was time to ground and pound and were effective at it. A lot of people was like, why don't the Saints operate with this ground and pound? They were really, when they go on the ground and pound, they one of the best in the game at doing it. And it just they so finesse. They won't throw it all over the place, but they can get nasty on you and run it right at you. The Saints are really good at it too. They just choose not to do it. That's up to the Sean Payton. You got to change that, man. All right, let's see. Scoop says, good for you. Q took us to socioeconomic church fund. Dominic says, hey, Q, what all DE on the free agent market right now? Well, I mean, the top 3 or 4 of them is Jadeveon Clowney, who's still out there, Everson Griffin, who's behind him, Marcus Golden, the former Giant, and then the 4th one, a lot of people throwing in there is guys like Clay Matthews and the likes. But, the signing of Marcus Hunt kind of takes the luster off of any idea that you might have the Saints might be looking at Everson Griffin. I just don't see it at this point. Plus, it's going to cost a little bit more than what they have. And if they don't seem like they're really serious about clearing that money right away. Larry Warford survived the draft, and he's still pretty much right now on the team. They haven't settled with him or say, okay, time for you to go. I'm anticipating that happen probably, soon, but we'll see. They wasn't too motivated about getting rid of him. They tried to trade him. Nobody wanted him. And then ultimately they said, you know what? Let's just keep him on the team. If they really wanted to free up money, they can get rid of Nick Eason. They can get rid of Patrick Robinson. They can get rid of Larry Warford and free up $15, $16 million just like that. And be able, just a lot you could do with that money. But right now the Saints holding on. We'll find out why. James Taylor says, we have to start taking away the ball, especially Marshawn Lattimore. More turnovers is definitely the thing the defense needs to give us. Sacks and turnovers. We need to do that. Remember, that was that Super Bowl year mantra when the Saints were getting sacks and interceptions and turnovers. Those things on defense give the offense more opportunities to score, and most of the time it's short fields where they don't have to do nothing. They're picking up the ball on high energy plays which carry over to the offense and usually demoralizing to your opposition. So in the long run, I absolutely agree with you. The defense has to create more turnovers. They have to get sacks, strips, whatever they got to do. And most importantly, they got to sack the quarterback. When you get into the quarterback consistent and you're a top 5 sacker of the quarterback, you will produce turnovers. Most of the time, you're going to get back there and knock that quarterback upside his head. You're going to fumble the ball or throw the ball early for a pick. So, I mean, good things happen when you get to the quarterback and sack them. That's why I'm so adamant about spending the money on having the pass rushers. Having a good offense is terrific. Running game is awesome. Having really good cornerbacks back there, safeties is good. Speedy linebackers is awesome. But boy, I tell you what, if you focus your resources into picking up pass rushers, the guys that have a literal knack at getting at the quarterback, it will make everything that you're doing on your team exponentially better. When you have guys that can get to the quarterback and sack them, not just pressure, but convert those pressures into sacks and get the quarterback on the ground. It makes fumbles happen and all kind of stuff happen. I'm telling you the truth. The sacker of you got to get paid to get the sack man. You got to pay the sack man. So the reason why is a premium on sackers, because you got to be able to get to the quarterback. That's the game. Having a quarterback that don't turn the ball over, that move the offense, and the defense having a guy that fires off the defensive line that causes problems for the opposing quarterback, forces them. If you be able to get a top-notch pass rusher, edge rusher, firing off that side there, you can knock Tom Brady ass in the dirt. You do the same thing for Teddy Bridgewater, Matt Ryan, and any other guy you want to name against the Saints defense. That's the thing that's really lacking with the Saints. They're a good unit, but in order to take it to the elite levels, the Saints have to then really focus on the edge rushing position and not just focus on it, finally solve the goddamn thing. You need a competent replacement next to Cam Jordan, and they tried it, trading up 2 picks to get Davenport, who's been hurt the last couple of years. Some people labeling him a bust. I don't think Davenport's a bust. I just think he's been snake bitten, meaning that he had a run of bad luck with injuries. He's been hurt ever since he's been a Saint. When they drafted him, they drafted him hurt, in my opinion. He had surgery on his thumb going into camp. He had to wait on that. Then when that finally happened, he had several injuries dealing with his body he had to overcome over the last 2 years. In that case, perhaps you need to focus on getting a guy like a Everson Griffin, not Jadeveon Clowney, but an Everson Griffin, who you like to pill for the Vikings players. I just don't understand. That's a perfect match. You need money, clear up those 3 guys I mentioned. Get Everson Griffin on the team. Man, you done did it then. Then there's nothing they can tell you. You have an answer for Tom Brady and all his superstar offense, all this nonsense I'm hearing. And you can get to Teddy Bridgewater as well. Pass rusher, edge rusher is uber imperative. You got to be able to get to the quarterback. I keep saying that. But that's what it is. You have to get to the quarterback. And that's what I'm saying. The Saints have a good unit, a really good unit, defensively speaking, but you have to be able, we need to be elite. We got to get up to that level where we become elite and be able to get to the quarterback. That's my only point about that. And Zach Bourne will help in that. I hear you on that. Zach Bourne will help as a situational pass rusher. Marcus Hunt, if he makes the team, could be an interior or exterior push lineman. Onyemata is a guy that provides push. All these interior linemen we have give push up the center, which is fine and awesome. But those edge rushers have to fire off the line, whether they be Noah Spence, Carl Granderson, Trey Henderson, Marcus Hunt, Zach Bourne. Somebody has to do it. Somebody has to do it. Davenport is the clear suspect, but he has to remain. I'm used to him being hurt. Maybe he breaks that trend this year. Crash, I don't trust Davenport's health. I know that's the key thing. And I think if you look at what the Saints did with Hunt and Zach Bourne, they the ones looking, they got a better look at the medicals than we do. You know, they know exactly where he is in his healing process right now. So if that's indeed the case, and they're looking at Marcus Hunt and they brought in Zach Bourne and all these other guys to sign Noah Spence back, but they could be looking at slowing his reputations down, perhaps. Dialing them back again and mixing another pass rusher in there with him to kind of ease him back into that, because I think right now he needs to you could play him, but play him in 50% half his snaps, giving the rest of them to situational pass rushers like Zach Bourne or somebody else until he gets 100%. You know what I'm saying? Because we really need his production later on in the year, and we keep losing him at getting cold, and it's just a shame. 95 says, okay, hold on here. Let me fire it up. Paul says he's trying to call, but he ain't getting through. All right, Paul, try to call here. I'm going to reset the phone line. Once again, family, for you to call. All right, Paul, you can try to call it now, family. We're going to see if it chime in here. But that's the thing that I'm looking at, family. It's more of the same when you talk about having a defense like that, to be quite honest with you. I think a lot of the like I said with the Saints, a lot of stuff that going with the Saints is the fact that we need to really focus on the sack, getting the quarterback, and the takeaways. If we can do that on defense, we ain't got nothing else. It's nothing else. It's Super Bowl all day. It's Super Bowl all day. All right, let's keep it going, family. Scoop said I'm using my Obama phone. All right, there you go. All right, Brother Paul, are you on the line? All right, Brother Paul, can you hear me, sir?
What to say about the Q?
How you doing, my brother? How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. It's been a long time no hear.
Yeah, they were talking about you. They said, where's Uncle Paulie? We don't see Uncle Paulie. I said, Uncle Paulie is he gonna be in the building soon enough. What's going on with you, Brother Paul?
Yeah, well, Q, I had to sit back and let everybody shine. It's a big enough stage for all of us to get down and do our James Brown.
That's right. What you think about the draft? What you think about the draft, Brother Paul? You seen everything transpire with the draft and everything, and the drafted guys, Ruiz, the center. What's your thought process on the draft, the undrafted guys, and even some of the signings of guys like Jameis Winston? I know you have some interesting takes on all that stuff. What you think about it?
Well, I got to start with the Jameis Winston. Now, Teddy Bridgewater, Big B, we know what he could do. We know what he can't do. But Jameis Winston, the games that I saw him in last year, he can't do nothing. I mean, I really question that move, Q. And see, now you got about to get me started. The Saints had a golden opportunity, Q. You had Jake Fromm, you had Jordan Love, you had so many quality college quarterbacks in the draft, and the Saints just sat there and twiddled their thumbs, man. I'm very disappointed in that. What you think, Q?
I mean, of course, me and you on the same wavelength, that brother Paul. I thought that Jalen Hurts would be a good addition to the Saints because he can do a lot of the stuff that some of these other guys that you're looking at doing. He could play the multiple roles if you need him to. He's an athlete, and I thought he had a bigger upside than some of these other guys. But the way the Saints draft went didn't exactly go like a lot of people anticipated. We didn't anticipate them being that upset with Warford to the point where they wanted to make a move during the draft to fix it, and especially at the top of the draft. How imperative was it that they wanted to forego taking a top-notch defensive lineman or a safety or a linebacker to impact the defense at that level to ultimately fix the interior line? The interior line was higher rated than getting help in the defense where you needed it. So it goes to show you how, and then I don't know how imperative it was, because when they couldn't trade him, they still ain't release him. He's still a member of the team. So, I mean, that was interesting.
That was a blunder, I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm. It was interesting, Brother Paul, but I still like the move because it does save them money. They can still get rid of Wolf for $7 million, Eason's $5 million, and really come up with 15, 16 million quick. I like Ruiz. If you go look at his footage, he was a guy he will be. I keep saying this guy's going to be LaCharles Bentley, and I know you remember LaCharles Bentley, a healthy version of LaCharles Bentley. And LaCharles Bentley was a bad boy, and this is what this kid looked like to me. He plays with a mean and nasty edge, under control, and the guy is a beast. So, and moving McCoy to the right guard position and Ruiz in the center, and you look at that center all the way to that right tackle position, absolutely awesome with Ruiz, McCoy, and Ramczyk. I'm really excited about that. The rest of the defense, the draft, they got the tight end of the future, the center of the future, and a linebacker of the future, and then the Taysom Hill of the future, gimmick guy in case Taysom Hill is priced out of their ballpark coming after this year. So a lot of future picks for a deep team that didn't have that many needs to address. That's pretty much it.
That's true, Q. Like I say, but I still feel like the Saints missed the bus. They didn't. You had Edwards Helaire out there. You had Swift. I still wish they could have got a running back in the top that was left in the pool after the draft. It just makes you scratch your head, Q, about some of the decisions that the Saints made. Okay, you're gonna get Stevens from Mississippi State, which ain't, like you said, just a younger Taysom Hill, because like you said, they know within the next 2 years Taysom Hill gonna be out the door anyway. So now you're gonna go get another gimmick player.
Mm-hmm.
And you alluded to the line now. I'll tell you something, Q. Ruiz and McCoy and all that. If the Saints don't run the ball, Sean Payton, you better. Now, come on now. Ain't going to be no excuses next year. I mean, Drew don't need to be going out there and throw the ball over 40, 50 times. He do, man. Somebody need to talk to Sean Payton seriously. Come on now. Ain't no excuses when I run the ball now. What do you think?
I agree with you, Brother Paul. I think that's absolutely well said. Another component to it also would have been if Coach Payton would have came out and told the Saints Nation, the Black and Gold, the Great Saints think tank, and the entire Saints Kingdom that the Saints will run the ball up the center of the offensive line. That's why we had this big, mean offensive lineman. Everybody would have just fell back on it. But, the protecting of the quarterback comes first, and I know that Sean Payton has to be able to address using the running game in there. So you look, and of course, he could have got a scat back similar to Devine Zigbo, who the Saints had last year, but instead they got Tony Jones Jr., the bruising running back undrafted kid. Now, a lot of people don't think he has a chance of making the draft, but to go get a bruising back similar to what Dwayne Washington, north-south running back with wiggle, who can catch the ball out the backfield, it makes sense to me because the Saints, I do, and I'm going to go out on the limb and say this, that when you switch up your interior line like the Saints do, this is big now. We talking about, and people, I don't know if people realize how big in magnitude the move was to shift
I agree with that.
But you know, and you looking at it with Drew this year, and you turn around and switch the center with a new center, which means a relationship has to be built between Ruiz and Drew Brees, like it was with McCoy last year. So when you interrupt that with a rookie, with your veteran quarterback under 1 year, that's huge. And then, but the thing is, protecting the interior of the offensive line. Big money paid to Andrews Pete. Drafting of Ruiz with the first pick that they came up with, that they have. The altering of McCoy to the right guard position. You've just, just shaped this offensive line interiorly speaking. I can't help but to think that this also will deal with the fact that the Saints will run the ball more. No doubt about it. I mean, those guys are, Ruiz and McCoy are nasty run guards. They can pass block, but they are really nasty run guards. If you look at it, they run with an attitude. So I can't help but to think that Sean will eventually run the ball more to help out his 40-year-old quarterback, throw some Taysom in there, let him throw the ball every now and again, have his packages and all that kind of stuff. So I could definitely see them doing more running the ball. No doubt about it, Brother Paul. And and address your Jameis Winston point. Just to draw your Jameis Winston point. I like the Jameis. I like the Jameis Winston move. At first I didn't, and with Shay, and I'm gonna tell you what made me change my mind on it. A lot of people, some clown up there on the comment section, not in here, family, but it was some clown left a comment on one of the videos saying something about the guy not knowing. I don't know. Only thing I say is that I'm constantly getting new information. And what rule that you have where you can't update your thinking? If you get more information, that's like somebody asking you what's the smallest particle known to man. And then somebody say an atom. And then you think you're right. And then the man say, no, it's not an atom, it's something else. And I don't know what it is now. I know it used to be a biaperture. I think it might have changed because now how is things getting smaller and smaller? It used to be an atom, now it's a biap or whatever it is, and then it gets all those quarks and all that kind of stuff. But you see, it's based upon where your knowledge base picked off when you was learning that subject. But if you was updating your information, then you would learn that the technology got better. Thus, they were able to find that last electron microscope worked better, and it could see a lot smaller than the previous versions. And when you get that fresh information, you got to then Clinton said, thank you, Clinton says a quark now. See? I said quark, but I was thinking it might have been something else. But I remember we was in school, it said it was an atom. Then I found then it changed to a biaperture. Then it's now quarks. Quarks are the smaller. Now, how did it get from an atom to a quark? It's because the technology has gotten better where you can see smaller and smaller particles. So I say that I use that science just to say that it's the same with any information that you get. Gundam says a quantum atom. See, these are intelligent, very smart people, and they say this is a quantum atom. Okay, thank you. So I said but the point is, family, thank you for that. But the point of the matter is that you have to be able to progressively update your information. And I'm saying about Jameis Winston, I didn't like Jameis Winston come here because of the foolishness that he brings, that his dysfunctionality. I didn't want that to spill into the locker room. But if he's coming here, you listen to his interview, and then he talks about his relationship with Drew Brees. The main component to getting because Jameis has all of the characteristics in terms of his play. He can throw the ball deep. He can move around. He can scramble, and he has all of the skills. He does. His issue was off the field stuff. Making boneheaded decisions and stuff like that. His experience in Tampa Bay, getting rid of him coming here knowing that this could be a last shot for him talking to Teddy Bridgewater. He literally said in an interview we played on the show a couple nights ago that he talked to Teddy Bridgewater about coming to New Orleans and what it did to revitalize Teddy's career, learning behind Drew Brees and Sean Payton's offense. I could not think in my head why that can't be the case for Jameis Winston. The locker room will not allow that dysfunctionality. He will conform to the locker room. He will conform and then take instruction and mentorship from the greatest quarterback in the league, in my opinion, in Drew Brees. He will take that mentorship from Drew Brees.
If you don't, if you take a short left on Canal and get out of town.
There you go.
Tom Brady go put up with that locker room distraction,
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. The locker room is strong. Drew Brees is the mentor who will mentor him. He'll sit behind Drew. He'll sit behind Drew and learn. So that's my thought process on why I said, I don't want him around here. But if it's Drew Brees mentoring him, which it will be, and him learning principles of the games for Sean Payton and the Saints locker room, and plus the financial point that they ain't spend that much money, like $1 million and some change on Jameis Winston for 1 year. I mean, that's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. He can only
opportunity to show up now.
You go. And he's in his interviews, you heard him talking, saying that, I'm good. I'm happy to be behind Drew. Drew could teach me a lot. He's a Hall of Famer. We're gonna see. But you absolutely, if it don't work, you have nothing to worry about. It's $1 million. It was nothing. It's the Saints million, nothing to them. By any stretch of the imagination, they could just, like Brother Paul said, they can cast them aside. But go ahead, Brother Paul, on your initial point. I just had to address that Jameis Winston thing you brought up.
Oh no, Q. That's what I was looking at, Q. The Saints build up that interior line. That's why I feel they fumbled the ball by not getting another, good strong back to run up in that. Because now, what you tailoring the running game to now? You tailoring it more to Murray or to Kamara? What you think?
I still say Kamara's the bell cow. I still say with all the packages that Sean Payton runs, he will be the top package. But I'd still say you'll see more Taysom Hill in there, and Alvin Kamara, then Taysom Hill, then Latavius Murray still at back, because Taysom Hill will get shares at the running back position. That's just the point. He'll play some of the wide receiver. He'll throw the ball every now and again, and he'll play at the running. When he gets the ball, he lines up back there. He's going to, most of the times when he takes snaps, he's going to run the ball. Remember last year he threw the ball out of all the times that he played 13 times, out of all the snaps that he played for the entire year. So when he's back there, he runs the ball behind that line. So I would anticipate Alvin Kamara, Taysom Hill, and Latavius Murray in more of a reserve role, maybe a little bit more increased because Sean Payton will gain more trust with Latavius Murray. I'm not expecting nothing like exploding to the point where he basically is using one off the other like a thunder and lightning tandem. I don't think he sees them as thunder and lightning. I think Alvin Kamara is still the man, and then Taysom Hill gets the reps. And if he needs to sprinkle a little Latavius and Murray in there every now and again, he will do that. So I mean, that's what I think.
Well, there too, Q. Like say, if I was still in a Saints uniform, come training camp and preseason and all that good stuff, because you said they still haven't worked a deal out with him. But I tell you what, I'm so glad they got Malcolm Jenkins, and that spells last chance for the Williams boys. You know that, right?
Well,
if they don't get together now, one of them gonna have to be out of here. I don't see no other way, Q.
I mean, Marcus Williams is on the last year of his deal, and
he really is.
And the thing is, he's my most surprising player that I really want to see. I really want to see what he does this year under the mentorship of Malcolm Jenkins, and to learn it like it's the same type of mentorship that a Jameis Winston will get from Drew Brees is what Marcus Williams will get from Malcolm Jenkins. He would teach him what to look at, perhaps show him how to take better angles, how to become a better tackle, not to get the worst of it. So this is his last year, and this kid is he's been productive when he's in there. And people look at the stats, and that's true. He does have the statistics. If you look at his stats, and you're not reminded about the boneheaded plays that he's had, because when he screws up, he makes a mistake for the ages. It's not like a regular screw up, which you could just kind of calmly forget that. when Marcus Williams screws up, it's always in a huge fashion.
You're right.
And it's a shame because it overstays his play.
Up to you, it generally costs you the game. Now,
Man.
you really went to something right there. Like I say, it ain't just he missed this. It's a touchdown. Okay, we get back. But when Marcus Williams blows it, he blows the game, and you back home at the playoffs.
Yep.
You know, and to me, I was, Dennis Allen would stop putting that boy in them type of positions, man.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't know why the Saints wasn't running. See, with that last drive from last year, you just got to keep going back to it. I don't know why the Saints wasn't in a 4-1-6. If they'd have had enough defensive backs, maybe they could have had 2 or 3 guys over there, and Thielen wouldn't have had a chance to get this ball like that, Q. Allen got to call a better plays with that scheme, or he need to trash it and try something different. So, like I said, his boneheaded calling is costing us too. It ain't just all Sean Payton,
Mm-hmm. Right.
Allen got to do better with that secondary because that's been a problem too. Putting guys in the wrong place at the wrong time, and you cost them the game. What do you think?
You're right. I mean, it was a terrible call. I don't know what that was, but boy, he really put that guy in the position. But it happened. Marcus Williams pops up on tape because he the last line of defense, and boy, he takes poor angles. He doesn't blow guys up. He hesitates to blow guys up, and that's just the wrong mentality to have back there. You're a big safety.
He with a big penalty for doing something stupid back there.
Yeah, you just got to take your chances, man. Take your chances, man. If it's a clean hit, they're gonna call. I mean, you can't play for the referees. You know what I'm saying? Just do your best. Later, do your best out there. And remember, and if it's a penalty, then just deal with it on the back end. At least you made the effort to do it. But I mean, it's just he has to play a lot smarter than what he is really the question mark player for me to see how far he's come, because it's in the last year of his deal. And some people are going to come at Marcus Williams and offer him a contract in next year free agency. I'm serious. They're going to be guys that come after him that like what he is, and whether or not he'll stay with the Saints, that's up for grabs to see what this year looks like. But my goodness, man, Marcus Williams, boy, he sure know how to screw it up.
Right. If you Patrick Robinson, all that money he get, I don't know how the Saints going to restructure his contract, but even he don't make it look that bad. But he messes up, do boneheaded stuff too, but it don't cost you no playoff game.
Yep. That's what it is. That and that's the mentality of it, Brother Paul, is that at the end of the day, you got to look at a guy like Marcus Williams and look at the fact that this is the first time in his career that he be playing next to a really experienced guy. Not take nothing away from Von Bell, but he's playing next to a guy who played the position. Both remember this guy when he was at Ohio State, he played cornerback. The Saints adjusted him to the safety position, and he learned the position, played well for the Saints, left, went to Philly, and was a stalwart in the Philadelphia defense, helping them win a Super Bowl there, and signed two big contracts with the Eagles before ultimately a lot of Eagles fans were upset that the organization didn't bring him back. They were really upset. They didn't want to pay him.
He was up for a big payday. They want to pay him.
Right, and that's what happened. Saints get Malcolm Jenkins down here. It'll serve two functions. It'll give a guy that knows what he's looking at on the back end of the defense. And he'll teach young guys like Marcus Williams how to play the safety position, Saquon Hampton, P.J. Williams, if he's back there, safety hopefully he is, and some more. That's right.
Maybe he can get interceptions up. He's doing so much coverage,
Right.
He can't go after the ball like he wants to.
Oh yeah, and then the leadership edge on the back end of the defense that's been lacking. Now you had Marcus Williams and you add Janoris Jenkins to the mixture. Both of those the Jenkins boys, the William boys, but more importantly, the Jenkins boys will bring a lot of veteran, high productive edge to the Saints secondary to teach a lot of young guys, including Marshawn Lattimore, how, who knows what he's doing, but still getting better, how to play those positions. And I think that's a terrific, not to mention, don't forget about DJ Swearinger either, who's another terrific veteran who knows how to hit, who gets interceptions. The thing about DJ Swearinger is that he never stuck and stayed on none of the teams, but he was productive. Wherever he went, he just never stayed on. He had injuries, whatever happened, this kind of thing. But DJ Swearinger in his second stint in New Orleans, he should be counted on too in the veteran edge to help Saquon Hampton and guys like that and those young guys in the secondary. So, I mean, it's a lot going on.
That's going to be very important. That's going to be very important. I mean, to cut you off but going up against, you're going up against Tom Brady, he's going to be pass happy, And, I heard Antonio Brown, he talking about trying to come down there, but just think if they do sign him, Tom Brady really going to be throwing that ball, and they already got some good receivers there anyway. So you're going to have a secondary that's not going to be picked apart game in and game out. What you think?
That's right. I mean, and that's a part of it, and also to help out the secondary because Malcolm Jenkins and Janoris Jenkins will tell the younger, inexperienced guys like Marcus Williams, despite the fact that he's been in the league for going on 4 years now, what to look at. We talking about guys, 5, 6, 7 years in the game, know that one that's productive and one at a high edge. And I compared it to like when the Saints brought in Darren Sharper, how Sharper was able to help that defense and what he was saying in the plays that he's making. Could be a very similar type of situation occur for the Saints defense this year. The only other piece of it is that we continue to remain healthy and the guys that are in there continue to be impactful. And if we do that, we'll be fine. Stopping the run there, no doubt about it. The Saints will stop the run. The interior is the strength of the interior of the defensive line. Interior going up the center of the Saints. The Saints defense up the center is absolutely fantastic. David Onyemata, Malcolm Brown, Sheldon Rankins, Demario Davis, in the middle, and then Malcolm Jenkins at the safety level. That is strong up the center of the defense. Yep. That's why I said the Saints, that's why the team is, you're going to see an exponential growth in the Saints defense because old football principles talk about defense. If you want to be like the olden Pittsburgh Steelers or Baltimore, they focus on interior defensive linemen, interior linebackers, and safety play. All things up the center of the defense. If you have strength at those positions, your defense will be solid all the time. The Saints will stop the run. They'll be one of the top 5 best in the league in stopping the run. And firing off the edges is the other thing the Saints got to get sacks and pressures on the quarterback.
Who gonna be the edge rusher to give Cabot some help out there, man? Somebody else got to get to the quarterback to free him up some,
Yeah, and that's the point. We talked about that a little earlier.
6'8", 240, 6'8", man. He ought to be dominating, man.
Yeah, that's
that big,
Yeah, that's the issue. Having big old defensive linemen like that, 6'8", 280. Yeah. We always had big defensive linemen down here like that, but they weren't impactful. I remember a while ago we had a big old defensive lineman. What's his name? Last year we had a big old guy. He didn't mean nothing. And we got guys like that, big old 6'8" guy. I remember we got one from Jacksonville a few seasons ago. I can't remember his name. But we always get these big defensive linemen, but they don't turn out to be impactful.
Yeah, you remember old Jonathan Sullivan, old Cyrus Sapp?
Yeah, I remember Sullivan, garbage tail, big sorry ass defensive tackle. I remember from Georgia. Big sorry bastard out of Georgia. Yeah, he was pathetic. But that's
we don't need no more of that.
But that's the point that the Saints have to be able with the interior. I love the interior, and that's something defensively speaking is the strength of the team. The interior of the Saints defensive line, from the defensive line linebacker to the safety level, all strengths up the center of the team. And if doing it like that is that is masterful. Like I said, the only problem with the Saints defense, and I don't know if it's a problem not because Zach Bourne and this guy Hunt could possibly help to solve it, is by getting pressure on the quarterback and get sacks. It don't have to be one guy, but if it's a group of guys, maybe 2 or 3 sacks apiece that's known to get in there and knock the quarterback around, I'll settle for that. But you got to get the quarterback on the ground. You got to force him to throw the ball early to help your secondary. And when we do that, we should be fine. But like I said, I like what the Saints, looking at the overall depth chart of what the Saints, we covered it, the drafted, undrafted, not to mention went over and watched the unofficial depth chart, went through it, and seen all those talented players. I mean, the team is taking shape in a great way. I can't help but to see Saints 12-13 win campaign coming around again.
At least 12, Q.
Mm-hmm.
It's very possible. And, you know, I see it at first, man. I see Bond and Troutman. I see them being Pro Bowl players the first rookie year, man. I really believe that. I think they're going to be just that good.
Well, Troutman, we'll see where he goes because it's predicated on him picking up the offense. It's also predicated on the fact that where is Cook going to be? Jared Cook had missed some games, a lot of games last year.
That's true.
So if that trend continues this year, where are we? And then and he's another piece to talk about too, Paul. Remember the bullshit way he started last year, where he couldn't get off the ground. He couldn't. I mean, he couldn't quite find his niche, and then later on in the year, he started to develop and make moves. But remember, he only caught 44 catches for the Saints with 8 or 9 touchdowns, I think it was, that got him in the Pro Bowl. I was like, 44 catches? Get your ass in the Pro Bowl nowadays? With 8 or 9 touchdowns, they got him in the Pro Bowl. So I guess so. I guess so.
You better what Ted Ginn did. I'm going to mention that. How you see the wide receivers shaking out? Hogan in trouble with Big Johnson back there now.
I think
see that.
No doubt about it. It's a lot of talented wide receivers the Saints have. I'm really impressed with these new undrafted guys. Johnson from Oregon and the other guy from Tennessee. I'm really impressed with those guys on film because both of them have really the wide receiver from Tennessee has speed and he attacks the ball. He's aggressive. He makes contested catches all the time. Johnson is another dude that's 6'4", 230, has a decent speed, red zone specialist, knows how to get the little separation, hard to bring down. Those are intriguing candidates. And then, of course, guys like Emmanuel Butler, LaJordan Humphrey, who I really like a lot. I think LaJordan has terrific hands. He's not the fastest guy in the world. He's not supposed to be, but he gets yards after the catch, which I absolutely love. Thank you, Clint. Clint says Callaway. Thank you, Clint. That's Callaway. You know, so I that's the fantastic things I like about those wide receivers. Then you get behind those guys, behind LaJordan Humphrey, who's great yard after catch man, who I think is a big skill. And then there's guys like Maurice Harris, who a guy you need to keep an eye on coming into camp is Maurice Harris. He's a veteran, been in the league for 3 or 4 years now. Hadn't been able to catch on, but he has terrific speed. He can catch. He just hadn't had the proper opportunity to show his skills off. Maurice Harris could be a guy. He could play special teams and everything. Watch out for Maurice Harris. I'm telling y'all. It's Tim White, who's a loan shot, and a few other people on that loan shot. But yeah, but right now, if you look at it, like I said earlier, I think that I don't know how many wide receiver positions the Saints are going to field, but if you're looking at 5, let's say 5, they keep 5 wide receivers on the active roster. I mean, most of those positions are taken. I mean, say again.
I said I think they'll at least keep 7. I keep 7.
Well, I mean,
put a few of them on the practice team, you know.
Right. On the practice squad is different, but I'm saying on the active roster, you're looking at them probably keeping. Let's say they keep 5 of them. I don't know if they'll keep 6, but let's say 5. Say 5. If that doesn't leave much room for an undrafted guy to make, if that's the case, because you got to look at it. Mike Thomas has one of those positions. So does Emmanuel Sanders. He has the other one. Then you have to look at guys like Deontay Harris, a kick returner who plays the wide receiver position. He has another position. And then, of course, Traquan Smith, who I don't think the Saints are willing to let go. If that's indeed the case, then you only have 2 spot. Clint said they'll keep 6. I say 5 or 6, somewhere along in there. If that's the case, then it don't leave much for you. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So who's the other guys behind that? You know, it's a race. It's a race. It's a chase for those positions, and it's tough. LaJordan Humphrey, Emmanuel Butler's there. Tim White's there. You got Tommy Lee Lewis is in there, and then you have the 2 wide receivers that they picked up, and then it'll be a race for it.
Yeah, Q, it's gonna be. Yeah, but see, the names you just called right there on the back end, those like the guys that are gonna be outside looking in with Austin Carr. What you think?
Austin Carr, I don't think Austin Carr will be on the team. I don't think he's coming back. I think this year crop of wide receivers are fast, they're big, and it's going to be a real competition between the rest of these guys. And I really do think Maurice Harris gets one of those positions if he's healthy, because he works on special teams and he's terrific. Watch the film on Maurice Harris. He's a guy that the Saints like. They kind of snuck him in there, but he has the potential. He's like a 3 or 4 year veteran, been in the league. He can play the position. He's a bit undersized, but he has speed and he can catch. So, that's what you want. So watch out for Maurice Harris, man. If y'all don't know about Mo Harris on the wide receivers, watch out for Mo Harris, Maurice Harris. They picked him up. So that'll be
Saints gonna have to have that deep ball. You gotta be the Carolina, the Tampa Bay, all of Atlanta. They got him, so you're gonna have to put that ball down there. I mean, not score so quickly that you put your defense in a bind, but but you're gonna have to stay in the game because these teams gonna be putting up points now. It ain't gonna be none of this 13-7 and 13-10 type of game. These people gonna be putting up some points, and you're gonna have to score also.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you right on the money. It has to be we have to be more of a balanced attack with the Saints. I know we can dominate teams with the passing attack. We can hit them with all kind of plays. We're very gifted with that. But I think more discipline and knowing why throw it on this team and we could just run it on this team and dominate them because they can't stop the run. Being more judicious in how we employ it.
Wise with your gadget plays. Don't be trying to do it at old game.
Don't show them too much. Right. Don't show them too much of the gadget stuff or the unique plays that you have if you don't have to. Run your base offense and save a lot of that stuff for the playoffs so that you can surprise teams. Don't give them all the stuff. Right there. Because you got to the playoffs. None of that's what happened to all the surprise plays, the playoff packages we were supposed to run. Why that didn't show? You showed all of that stuff doing what the Saints were doing in the Minnesota loss in the playoffs was the same stuff that was running during the season. So all this talk about him holding plays for the playoffs most certainly wasn't the case. He was riding off the plays that got him there. And you can't take your opponents lightly like that because they've watched film. They know what your tendencies are. Sometimes you got to be able to switch it up and be versatile to kind of keep them all around.
Like they tried to give us that line. Like they told the caller, I forget his name from last year. They saved Murray for the playoffs and didn't call to give him the ball with a flip. Come on, we ain't buying that line no more, Q.
Yeah, that's a portion of it. We have, and it relies, like I said, a lot of people. I was critical, still am critical of Coach Payton because it all starts with him. And a lot of people saying, "Well, we can't be critical of the coach. Why the hell not? If you can sit up here, you can sit on your ass and criticize the guy in the White House. And I don't pick no favorites in the bunch. I don't have a dog in the race. I keep saying that. Because I believe both parties is harmful to people. They both been lying and they switch sides like the WWE people used to do a long time ago. Y'all remember when Hulk Hogan was good? He was Hulk Hogan telling everybody to take their vitamins and drink their milk. And then Hulk Hogan became bad. He became Hollywood Hogan in the New World Order, huh? He became Hollywood, started putting on all the black, and then later on he put the yellow back on. That's how the politicians do, man. So I mean,
like Rashford, it's scripted, it's predetermined. That's why the man you pick lose, because he's supposed to.
He's supposed to lose. He ain't supposed to win at that time. He's supposed to win it next year. Yeah, but that's my point on bringing up that as an example. Reason why I say that is I say that to say that if you can question the guy in the White House supposed to be running the government, then you can question that this dude sit up here running a football team. I just don't understand the logic. I don't get the logic. I really don't get the logic. You ain't supposed to come pay. I told Brother Paul. Paul, I told him that. I said, listen, this is the Great Saints Think Tank. We get a lot of people that listen to the videos. Family members know. They read the comments. They hear me. And listen, I'm usually pretty cool and all that kind of stuff. But I go off on them. Y'all know I'm gonna protect the great. And I'm gonna let them all know because they're gonna be listening. I'm gonna let y'all know right now that if you come on the Great Saints Think Tank talking mess, you gonna get your ass handed to you. Bottom line, we won't let you come on here and disrespect none of the family members in here. That's the bottom line. The Great Saints Think Tank, I'll ride with you. You ain't like the friend that some guy about to jump in. He turn around and say, "You ready?" And this fool, and he 6 blocks away from you, leaving you there to get your tail beat. No, that ain't like that here, fam. I got your back. Ain't nobody gonna stand up here and talk no mess about you. I got your back. He talk about, I got your back. You look back, he's 7 blocks up the street.
Thank you. Yeah, run.
You know, so no, we don't. And that's the thing about being, because a lot of Saints fans.
To give you some help here. Shoot, yeah.
That's the thing about being a member of the Great Saints think tank. It's a think tank, and I keep putting it out there. Think tanks require you to think, not to buy. This is not the Great Saints buy-in mind. The Great Saints buy-in tank. This is not the case. No, it's a think tank. A think tank means a collage of ideas. This is a group of critical thinkers. Yeah, that's what this is. This is a group of critical thinkers. Ain't got nothing to do with some guy buying into everything a football coach say. I don't care if whoever it is. I'm gonna analyze you. 8 ways from Tuesday. Jimmy say mercy.
You're supposed to. And a lot of times, too, I think those coaches, Sean Payton and he throws Belichick and all the rest of them, sometimes they show their hand too much. All right, you know, a team can run the ball. You ain't got to come in there all week talking about we're going to try to stop the run. Then you go out there on that Sunday and they let the running back get 200-yard rushing. You stop the run. Okay.
Right.
Sometimes you can't tell everything you're going to try to do and try to stop, you know. You got to leave something to the imagination.
Yeah, and that's true, because them guys, and truth be told, they look for any edge in the world to look at trying to beat you. And even if you say something disrespectful, they put it on the locker room, on the billboard, on the locker room, so they can use that as a method of motivating their team. So it's a lot of intelligent stuff that you got to deal with too in football, and you can't lay all your cards out on the table like Sean Payton did this year with Teddy Bridgewater, Taysom Hill, and the rest of them. So you can't always lay your cards out there, but you also shouldn't have to deal with the fact that you have to practice or telling people one thing and doing another. I'm totally against that. I don't care if you're trying to get the guy to sign or play for your team or do something else. I'm against that, man. That's the wrong thing you want to practice, because people been lied to enough. Give people the truth. Tell them the truth. And live with it, because you don't want nobody lying to your ass. Bottom line.
That's true. So, and I'm glad you said that, Q. That brings me to this, and I'm going to let you go. Do you think we're going to be, the players are actually going to be played to a packed stadium, or are they going to have to go in there and play in front of camera and empty seats? What you think?
If I had to say so, I think fans, the game's going to be played in limited capacity in front of certain people, and in limited capacity or empty stadiums. I don't think they do everything to shut the country down to simply allow it to reopen. You got to understand, people right now who don't deserve to have power got a lot of immense power. People don't understand what kind of dire straits they're in right now. If you got some really crazy, insane people as politicians that's sitting in positions who have a lot of power right now that shouldn't have it. And a lot of these people are going to change laws and do all kind of stuff right here, right now in these times. You're living under a martial law right now. When the disaster occurs, the regular government is suspended. That means you're not operating with the Constitution. You're operating on something else right now. And a lot of people don't understand that. So if the people that's in control right now are then telling you that right now the only way you can move around is that we waiting for something to happen, and what they're waiting for is the vaccine aspect to come so they can start implementing that. That's what's going on here, and they're gonna hold and tamp down a lot of the society until that happens.